Hi, welcome back, guys. This is your friend, the DN WhatIf, with another fanfiction. This is the second part of What If Deku Had a Secret Harem. All credits for this video go to their respective authors, so please support the real author. Check out the link in the description for more details, and go to the story link to say hi to the author. Please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel if you want more videos like this. Now, let's get into the fanfic. As the rest of class 1 awaits for Shoji to pick a song, it is now time for them to chat for a while. Man, how did they get the budget for that song? Even the scene was really realistic, Kyoka said. A quirk maybe, Takoyami suggested. It is a possibility, Ida said in agreement. Also, no, we are not going to talk about the girl, the petite rocker quickly said in annoyance, not wanting to have this conversation again. She then looked at Kaminari. Not even you. While Minda sulks, Denki just rubbed the back of his head in embarrassment. Alright, got one, Shoji said as he has a DVD in hand, and he gave it to Momo. Oh, a 1,000-year solo by Yanagi P and Kaido. It even said that it came from Kansai, Momo commented. Oh, play it. I think it's one of their concerts, Mina said in excitement as Momo then put the CD in the player. On screen, standing on stage, is a young man in his 30s. He has blue hair, eyes, and a scarf. His default attire consists of a light blue top beneath a white jacket blazer with blue edge trimmings, and a brown rectangle and the familiar Vocaloid logo on the left side. Dark brown pants with yellow stripes going down and white shoes with blue soles. I knew it, Mina shouted in excitement. All right, let's hear it, Denki said as he was also excited. The song then began to play as the crowd began to cheer when they heard the sounds of a fiddle, guitar, and drum in a medieval tune. A flute then appeared in the hands of the singer on stage, who then began to play it. As he did so, he also started singing and dancing. Hitori Hayero no Oka. Kawaida Kirkusa Fumi Shaimi. Amoi Megarazuru Sora no Kanata Nai. Cherry blossoms then began to fall on the stage, which gives it a beautiful fantasy setting. Kei's Nai Yururu Hanabira. Yawaraka na Anata no Hohomi. Owai Kyoku no Kakura Sepia. Iro no Muko no Mabaroshi. Dare mo Shira na Yuto Kanadio. Kono mai ga Sabite Tamaro. Tamakuser Kakata Boani Yutai Tsuzukaya. Anata no Nakashita Yuto. Kono Karata wa Subit. Tsukuri Mano de Shika Naikido. Kono Kokoro wa Semit. Utanai Sasagit Iyo. The singer just continues to dance in a mesmerizing way on stage before singing again. Shizumu Ihai Nai Mukau. Iro Asada Guitar Katat Nai. Hibiku Kodama Nai Odoru Keichi. Suri Kairata Yubai Saki wa. Hikari o Nibuku Teri Kishite. Kuchai Susamu Melody wa. Kei's Nai Natsora no Muko Made. Kasuka Nai Kishimu Jin no Haguruma. Hibiite Yuku Nibiru no. Kagurasuno Hitamini Utsuru Kono Soroa. Dana. Mayakashi Daro. Kono Tsuki no Shidadi. Mo Megario. Kodo mo Naikido. Kono Sora Naimukat. Utai Suzuki Iyo. He began to play the flute again, as it just captivates the audience, before he went to sing again. Anata to Dieta Sumayer no Okamo. Ikusen no Yorunai. Hiro no Nakagara. Kono Karata wa Subit. Tsukuri Mono Daisuke Naikido. Kono Kokoro wa Semit. Utanai Sasaki Dio. Kono Tsuki no Shidadi. Mo Megari o Kodo mo Naikido. Kono Sora Naimukat. Utai Suzuki Iyo. Huwuo tilde. Huwu tilde. Huwuo tilde. The singer just continues to dance on stage. Even when the song finally ended, he just continues to dance till he stopped, and he disappeared in a puff of song, and the crowd in the video began to cheer. It is still a very wonderful performance, Momo said. Just the way Kaido sings, it was really mystifying, Kyoka added. Wait, there's more, Toru pointed out as everyone looked back to the screen to see the video still going. The camera was moving towards the backstage when the guard tried to stop whoever was holding the camera. They stopped to look behind the cameraman and lets them in. There they saw Kaido along with Mako as they hug each other while letting jovial laughters. Hey Kaido, hey Mako. Gumi's voice could be heard as the camera holder and Rest laugh a little. The two adults look then towards the camera, and they blush a bit. But Mako seems a bit annoyed. Really now? Mako said as she then raised both of her hands and wiggled her fingers while having a scary look on her face. You want to laugh? Come here. Ah! They then scream as the video then ended. Most of the audience laugh, a bit due to the end of the video, as they then slowly calm down. Man, that's good, Shiro said as he wipes off a tear from his eye. Yeah, Sato said as he let out a sigh of relief. My turn then. The acid user then leap over to grab the box, and she quickly looked in it before grabbing a CD with a twinkle in her eyes. It's Party Rock Anthem. Ooh, Tilda, play it, Toru said in excitement as the Pinkette then gave the CD to their rich friend. Momo grabbed the CD and puts it in the player. The television then showed Izuku and his friends in a club, while Hansuke was on the DJ booth. Not only were they there are also their family, co-workers, and their other friends. Music then began to play as everyone on the stage began to dance to the beat. Party rock. The entire place is being lit up with colors as everyone just went with the flow of the beat. Yeah. Woo. Let's go. Izuku could be seen dancing in the middle, with Gumi joining in with her brother in the middle. Party rock is in the house tonight. Everybody just have a good time, yeah. And we gon' make you lose your mind, woo. Everybody just have a good time, clap. The Kagami twins then took their place as they did a synchronized dance that they did perfectly. Party rock is in the house tonight. Everybody just have a good time, I can feel it, baby. And we gon' make you lose your mind, yeah. We just want to see you. Shake that. Ash could then be seen breakdancing in a different part of the club as those who surrounds him cheers him on. Then another part of the club as both Pico and Mickey could be seen doing the robot with a purple-haired girl and a pink-haired maid. Then it showed the center of club as Izuku could seen dancing with Ash, the Kagami twins and Pico. In the club, party rock. Looking for your girl. She on my job, huh? Non-stop when we in the spot. Booty moving weight like she on the block, woo. Then it showed in a different part of the club as both Miku and Gumi could be seen dancing and just having fun with each other. Where the drank? I gots to know. Tight jeans, tattoo, 'cause I'm rock and roll. Half black, half white, domino. Gainin' money, Operdo. At the DJ booth, Hansuke was just jamming along as he did some tricks with some records. Yo, I'm running through these hoes like Drano. I got that devilish flow, rock and roll, no halo, we party rock. Yeah, that's the crew that I'm reppin'. On the rise to the top. No lead in our Zeppelin, hey. Then it showed Inko dancing along with Tatsumaki and Fubuki. Thou the short yet older sister looked pretty annoyed. Party rock is in the house tonight. Everybody just have a good time, yeah. And we gon' make you lose your mind. Everybody just have a good time, let's go. Then it showed Flower just bopping her head in a different part of the club, while two young girls dance in front of her. One has violet hair, while the other has pink hair. Party rock is in the house tonight. Everybody just have a good time, I can feel it, babe. And we gon' make you lose your mind. We just want to see you. Izuku could then be seen standing alongside Ash, the Kagami twins, Pico, and Flower, as they had their backs turned. Shake that. Every day I'm shufflin'. The six of them then began to dance in sync, while everyone else cheers them on. Shufflin', shufflin'. Then it showed Fukase dancing alongside Tito, along three other people with red hair, two boys and one girl. Then it showed the shield girl with a group of varied genders, as they just also dance around. Then Izuku then stood on the middle again, but with Ash and Pico by his side. Step up fast, and be the first girl to make me throw this cash. We gettin' money, don't be mad, now stop, hattin' is bad. The three of them just dance in a calmer fashion to follow the beat. One more shot for us, another round. Please fill up my cup, don't mess around. We just want to see, you shake it now. Now you home with me, you're naked now. Then two new people stood on the middle. One of them is a young man with black and pink streak, while the other is a young woman with short orange hair. Get up, get down, put your hands up to the sound. Get up, get down, put your hands up to the sound. Get up, get down, put your hands up to the sound, woo. Put your hands up to the sound. Put your hands up to the sound, let's go. Get up, get up, get up, get up. Get up, get up, get up, get up. Get up. Put your hands up to the sound, woo. Put your hands up, put your hands up, put your hands up, put your hands up. Izuku could then be seen dancing alongside Gumi, the Kagami twins, Ash, Pico, Mickey, Miku, Flower, Fukase, the shield girl, and the two new scene people. Party rock is in the house tonight, put your hands up. Everybody just have a good time, put your hands up. Hansuke then got of the DJ booth and joined in with the dance with everyone else hearing them on. And we gon' make you lose your mind, put your hands up. Everybody just have a good time. Izuku was then shown breakdancing alongside his sister. Whoa, put your hands up. The Kagami twins was then shown just jamming around, while Len is doing some tricks. Well, I can feel it, babe. Ash was then shown dancing along with a blonde girl, as he twirled her around before landing her on his arms. Whoa, put your hands up. Pico, Flower, and Fukase dance together and Oliver just excitedly joins in for the fun. Whoa, put your hands up. Shake that. Every day I'm shufflin'. Hansuke was then shown doing the moonwalk before twirling and struck a pose. Put your hands up. Izuku's mother and aunts were then shown just having fun and doing some poses alongside each other. Put your yeah. The shield girl was then shown jumping around in joy before going back to dancing alongside a young hare with brown hair in a ponytail. Put your woo. Then a delinquent-looking girl was then shown dancing on the DJ booth alongside a girl with a bowl cut. Hands up. Then it showed Izuku dancing in the middle with his friends, while Hansuk returns to the DJ booth. Put your hands up. Put your hands up. Your hands up. Put your hands up. The song ended with everyone posing for the camera, as the screen then blacked out. The audience then let out a round of applause when the video ended. So who's next? Denki asked as Mina looked at Kyoka, who was deep in thought. Hey Gyro, how about you? The acid user said to the rocker girl, who snapped out of her thoughts and looked at the pinkette. Sure, Kyoka said as she grabbed the box and grabbed a CD, which she then gave to Momo. Take It Out on Me by 1000-Foot Crutch. Momo read it out. Huh, not a bad choice. Those guys are pretty good, Zero commented. Oh yeah, how do you think Midoriya will sing it? Denki asked. Well, let's see then. Momo then puts the CD in the player. Then on the television was Izuku alongside Ash and Fukase. Izuku has the guitar, while Ash has the bass and Fukase has the drums. They then began to play as Izuku starts it off by strumming his guitar, and then Ash and Fukase quickly joined in, as they were now banging their heads to the beat. Izuku then took the mic and began to sing. I don't know anymore. Thought I had it under control. Hear my voice, there it goes. Hear it louder than most. Here it goes. Hear it 1, 2, 3, 4. It's not worth it. It's not working. You wanted it to be picture perfect. It's not over. You don't have to throw it away. So scream if you wanna, shout if you need. Just let it go, take it out on me. Fight if you need to. Smash if you have to. Get control, take it out on me. So scream if you wanna, shout if you need. Just let it go, take it out on me. Fight if you need to. Smash if you have to. Get control. As the audience were listening, some of them were tapping their feet, while some of them are banging their heads to the beat as well. You try to move, but you don't want to lose. So afraid, you don't want it to fade. Hear my voice, here it goes, hear it louder than most. Let it go, let it 1, 2, 3, 4. It's not worth it, it's not working. You wanted it to be picture perfect. It's not over. You don't have to throw it away. So scream if you wanna, shout if you need. Just let it go, take it out on me. Fight if you need to, smash if you have to. Get control, take it out on me. So scream if you want to, shout if you need. Just let it go, take it out on me. Fight if you need to, smash if you have to. Get control. The trio then began to play a small instrumental before returning to singing. It's not worth it. It's not working. You wanted it to be picture perfect. It's not over. You don't have to throw it away. So scream if you want to, shout if you need. Just let it go, take it out on me. Fight if you need to, smash if you have to. Get control, take it out on me. Scream if you wanna, shout if you need. Just let it go, take it out on me. Fight if you need to, smash if you have to. Get control. The trio then continued for a bit before finally ending the song, and then they posed for the camera. Woohoo! Denki lets out a loud cheer, while some of the class did so as well, but much more restrained than his. Alright, who's next? Momo asked as Zero raised his hand. Pass it here, the tape user said as the box was then given to him. So he began to look around before something catched his interest, and he picked it. Let's Get This Started Again by Live My Last. He then gave the CD to Momo, as she then out the disc at the player and pressed play. Throw your hands up and fill the next cup. The song immediately started as the screen then shown Izuku, Ash, Len, and Fukase in a small studio. Let's get this started again. Wake up, rub the eyes. It's another new day, and it's no surprise. I lost my phone, my keys, my car. I left my wallet at the bar. Tie shoes, swig some booze. Another new day. Got nothing to lose. I can't remember her name. I think the shots are to blame. If it's only gonna be for tonight. Let's set this party right. So throw your hands up. Some of the audience were now banging their heads with the beat as the song continues. And fill the next cup. Let's get this started again. Me and my whole crew. We live with no rules. Let's get this started again. Let's get this started again. Go time, check the clock. Grab beer, take a couple of shots. Throw on my favorite song. Raise up my glass and sing along. Let's dance, no delays. This party's underway. She's feeling frisky, we're both tipsy. And she's ready to play. If it's only gonna be for tonight. Let's set this party right. So throw your hands up. and fill the next cup. Let's get this started again. Me and my whole crew. We live with no rules. Let's get this started again. So if you feel like we do, there's only one thing to do. Let's go. Pay tab. Call the taxi cab. Got a case in the fridge and a bottle at the crib. Let's all get twisted. Double fisting. Drink up. No resisting. Let's get this started again. Len was then doing a guitar solo, which just sounds right for the audience when he was now on his knees, still playing. Last call for alcohol. Let's drink till we have to crawl. It's just a matter of time before we lose our minds. If it's only going to be for tonight, let's set this party right. The four of them now raised their hands with Len still playing the guitar. So throw your hands up and fill the next cup. Let's get this started again. The four of them then returned to rocking the stage as the audience continues to enjoy it. Me and my whole crew. We live with no rules. Let's get this started again. So if you feel like we do, there's only one thing to do. Let's go. Pay tab. Call the taxi cab. Got a case in the fridge and a bottle at the crib. Let's all get twisted. Double fisting. Drink up. No resisting. Let's get this started again. The song then ended as the audience then let out a vigorous applause. So who's next then? Momo asked. My turn, Sato said as he grabbed the box. Hey, don't start yet. Everyone then looked to the doors of their dorms and saw that their guests have returned along their classmates who took them on a tour. But it wasn't just them. Just behind them were Class 1B, Hitoshi, and the Big Three. Hey guys, Mirio greeted them with a smile on his face as the students of Class 1A looked at each other. I think we need a better way to decide who picks a song, Ajiro said as everyone agreed with him. All right, bring it there, Tenya said to both Sato and Kirishima as they were moving the couch by a meter. Everyone were adjusting the room so the newcomers could comfortably sit alongside Class 1A in their music binging. The students from Class 1A even had to bring down the chairs in their rooms for those who wants one. There was some trouble during this though, specifically with Monoma. But everyone managed to finish setting up the seating arrangement. Both Sato and Kirishima then sat down the couch as Tenya gave them a nod of approval before looking towards the dining area where the rest were resting. Everything is done, he called out to them, and everyone then went to the living area to continue the music binging. All right, Satsuna was the first to sit down alongside Mina. I can't wait to listen. Calm down now, you'll get your turn, Kendo said. And we have a manageable way to decide who would choose, Momo said as she then showed her phone, which showed a colored wheel with their names on them. A wheel? How mediocre. As expected. Do you have a better idea? Flower cuts Monoma off as she questioned him. There are over 40 people here, so how do you expect us to decide who goes next? That quickly shuts the blonde up as he just sits down and grumbles, which surprised his classmates. Huh, didn't expect that, Oase said as he scratched his head. When we tried to talk him out of it, it never worked. It's always best to have the right answer, Pico said to them as he sat down. That is how Flower always do whenever Fukase was about to do something without thinking. Hey, 4 years ago, Oliver's birthday. It was a trip to the zoo, and you wanted to drag him to an insect exhibit, which by the way have the Goliath bird eater on display. Flower quickly cuts of the redhead singer, who was already seated with her following suite. Oliver, who also took his seat, shivered a bit when she mentions the animal's name with Coda doing the same. Okay, fine. I admit that I do a lot of things without thinking, but I am getting better, Fukase said. You only started when Yuna joined the company, Pico said as more of the audience sat down. She basically followed you around whenever Mayu is doing something else. Because all of you put her under my care, the scarred redhead said with a deadpan expression on his face. But you are not complaining about it, Ash said. I was at first, but she grew on me. Why did they put a new recruit under his care? Uraraka asked Izuku. From what I heard from Gumi, it was a way to give Fukase another responsibility. The Verdantine explained to them. All right then, Fukase quickly shouted. Pick a song already. Just let me spin the wheel, Momo said as she tapped her phone and the wheel began to spin. She waited patiently till the wheel finally stopped and landed on a name. Okay, it will be Hansuk. All right then, Hansuk then grabbed a box and quickly gotten a CD on his hand. How about this? He then handed over to Momo, who looked at the label. I Need Your Love by Calvin Harris, she said as Mina gave Hansuk a cheeky smile. You really are into Edom, Hansuk just shrugged with the acid user said. I dabbled a lot, he said before pointing his thumb at Izuku. But I would help him whenever he wants to do a cover and remixes. Well, play it then, Mina said as Momo then puts the CD in the player and pressed play. The screen then showed a small garden at night, where Izuku and his friends were sitting on tables that were circling a large white gazebo, which was decorated with white and yellow balloons, with 2 people standing in the middle of it. One of them is a tall young man with fair skin, blonde hair, and dark blue eyes. He is quite toned, having strong muscles in his arms, shoulders, and upper chest. He wears a black short-sleeved hoodie with detached reddish-orange sleeves and a dark brown image of the bunny rabbit Pumpkin Pete trimmed in white with cute black round eyes. Below, he wears blue jeans with a white patch placed on the left knee and black sneakers which have left and right written in black on the respective shoes' soles. The other is a young woman with pale skin, short dark hair with a few purple fringes reaching by her chin, and a pair of bright red eyes. She also has 2 sharp fangs whenever she smiles and 2 horn-like protrusions on her head, with no one knowing if it's authentic, an accessory, or just her hair. She wears a black short sleeves blouse with orange stripes. Her forelimbs were hugged by black arm and leg tights, and a pair of decorative wrist cuffs. She also wears a dark blue skirt with a black belt with a bat-themed buckle. Lastly, she has a pair of gold-rimmed googles on the top of her head. "Hey, I remember this," Pico said as he looked towards his friends. "Wasn't this from John's 15th birthday?" Pico's friends then look at the screen, and they agreed with him. "That's it, all right," Fucase said with a smirk on his face. "That was a memorable day. You and Flutter did end the event with a literal bang," Ash added. Who's John and Flutter?" Ajiro asked as he and everyone else were confused. "John is a friend of ours from France, and the girl with him is Florentia, his girlfriend. Fluttermouse is her nickname," Oliver explained. "Why Fluttermouse?" Kirishima asked. "She's German, isn't she?" Everyone then looked towards Rieko Yanagi, who tries to make herself small when everyone looks at her, yet she still manages to continue her explanation. "Fluttermouse means bad in German, but she could also be from neighboring countries that knows German." "Well, you are right about the second part. Flutter is Austrian," Rin said in confirmation. Monoma tried to boast, but Kendo quickly knocked him out before he could say anything. "He doesn't really shut up, does he, even after a talk?" Flower asked the 1B president, who could only sigh in annoyance. "Anyways, yeah, along with Ash, we have other friends around the world," Len said. "Oh, international friends. Do tell?" Mina asked with interest. "Let's do this after the song," Izuku said as Momo pressed play again. The song then began to play as both John and Fluttermouse face each other, and had their hands with each other. "I need your love, I need your time. When everything's wrong, you make it right." Izuku, his friends, and the rest of guests then noticed the 2 as they watched. "I feel so high, I come alive. I need to be free with you tonight. I need your love." Rin excitingly joined in as she pulled Izuku to the gazebo, which prompts everyone to follow suit. Both John and Fluttermouse then began to dance to the beat as they held each other lovingly. "I need your love." The rest of the guests then joined in as some of them are now jumping around or dancing with their partners when both John and Fluttermouse ran up to one of the railing of the gazebos as Fluttermouse sat down on the railing with John standing beside her. "I take a deep breath every time I pass your door. I know you're there, but I can't see you anymore. And that's the reason you're in the dark. I've been a stranger ever since we fell apart." The 2 of them get out of the gazebo as they dance on the grass with their guests cheering them on or dancing. "And I feel so helpless here. Watch, my eyes are filled with fear. Tell me, do you feel the same? Hold me in your arms again." The 2 of them twirled towards a nearby table as the both of them sat on it with John holding her close. "I need your love, I need your time. When everything's wrong, you make it right. I feel so high, I come alive. I need to be free with you tonight. I need your love." The guests just continues to party when both John and Fluttermouse ran off. Yet the camera still follows them. "I need your love." It then showed the 2 approaching a manor as they went inside and continued their dance there. "Now I'm dreaming. Will I ever find you now? I walk in circles, but I'll never figure out what I mean to you. Do I belong? I try to fight this, but I know I'm not that strong." The 2 of them ran up the stairs as the 2 of them playfully chase each other. "And I feel so helpless here. Watch, my eyes are filled with fear. Tell me, do you feel the same? Hold me in your arms again." Then 2 of them entered a barely lit balcony as they continued their dance there. "I need your love, I need your time. When everything's wrong, you make it right. I feel so high, I come alive. I need to be free with you tonight. I need your love." It then showed the guests partying hard as some were jumping around or doing some goofy dance moves. "I need your love." Hansuk could be seen managing the DJ booth as he hypes up the party even more. Fluttermouse then sat on the railing with just John joining along. "All the years, all the times. You have never been to blame. And now my eyes are open. And now my heart is closing. And all the tears, all the lies, all the waste. I've been trying to make a change. And now my eyes are open. I need your love, I need your time. When everything's wrong, you make it right. I feel so high, I come alive. I need to be free. The two of them kissed, which caused some of the girl audience to squeal in delight. As the guests continued their dance, both John and Fluttermouse looked towards the horizon where they faced with a starry sky. The video then stopped as most of the audience gave a round of applause. You gotta have to let us meet your friends from abroad, Mina said as she looked at Izuku in anticipation. Sure, heck, we could give every one of you a ride if you want, Len said to her, which made the students of UA to look at him. Are you sure, Sir Kagami? Jiroto asked. While the offer does sound appealing, it must be very expensive if you brought us all along. We don't really have to worry about that, along with the revenue that we are getting from the cells and the songs that we are a part of. Most of the Vocaloids that works in a company have businesses that supports the company. Not only us from Vocaloid, but also those from Utel, Sevio, Synth, and Fanloids. And you know how many we are, Pico answered, which made the UA students look at each other. I kinda always forget that you guys also have normal lives, Setsuna said, which made the singers shrug. Most people tend to do that. Heck, we were harassed a lot of times whenever we go outside, Len said. Especially when we are in different countries for Miku Expos. Those were much difficult times, Flower said. I still remembered getting called a devil when we were in the US due to my appearance, Fukase said as he grumbled angrily. And he's not the only one, Rin said, which made everyone frown. That's terrible, Ochako said. I would knock out someone's teeth if they call me an animal, Kamakiri said a little menacingly. But we at least have more fans than haters, Pico said as Oliver nodded happily. If we haven't, then we would have lost our spark for singing. This made everyone smile as they see the singers looking so joyful. All right now, who's next? Hansuke asked as he presented the box. Let's see, Momo said as she spun the wheel on her phone and gotten a result. It's Tamaki-senpai. You hear that, Tamaki? Mirio said with a smile as he has his arms around his male friend. It's your turn. Tamaki looked nervous, but the box was soon on him, which made him freeze a bit. Come on, pick one, Nejire said to him as Tamaki went and picked a random song from the box, and then showed it to Mirio. Mirio then grabbed the CD and looked at it. Sweet. Rise by Ash's Remains, the older blonde student said as he then gave it to Momo, who took it and puts it in the player before pressing play. The screen then showed Izuku alongside Fukase, Asha, and an older man on a stage with new person standing in front of the mic. He has short black hair that spikes in all directions and sharp green eyes. He wears a black shirt under a green hoodie, a pair of black pants, and a pair of white sneakers. Hey, it's Naofumi, Oliver said with a smile on his face. Friend of yours? Shiro asked Izuku. He's a friend of my sister's. We do talk from time to time, but we are more casual, Izuku said. He is also in college, so we don't see him that much because he is busy with something, Pico said. It's starting, Flower said as everyone's attention were then on the screen. The sounds of drums and guitars could be heard as Naofumi then took the mic as he then began to sing. Broken souls on the city streets. Fall apart while the city sleeps. Fading hearts of a generation. Tired eyes of a desperate nation. Blank stares and empty grins. When did we let darkness in? It's time to light it up again. Fire then came out of the edge of the stage as everyone bopped their heads to the beat. Let the fire inside of me. Take me over. Brighter for all to see. As the world grows colder. Find me on my knees and take me higher. Out of the wasted lives. I will rise. Fukase then did a quick guitar solo as Naofumi returned to singing. When light shines on hopeless men, we find the strength to hope again. Every time that freedom finds us. Broken bones and scars remind us. Seething with bloodshot eyes. Breathing just to survive. It's time to bring us back to life. More fire came out of the edge of the stage, but was more taller than the first as everyone continues to bop to the beat. Let the fire inside of me. Take me over. Brighter for all to see. As the world grows colder. Find me on my knees and take me higher. Out of the wasted lives. I will rise. Fukase yet again did a guitar solo as Naofumi just sings along with it. Build me up and burn me down. Take me over. You're everything that I need now. Let the fire inside of me. Take me over. Brighter for all to see. As the world grows colder. The hype then just keeps getting better as Fukase and Ash were moving around the stage, while Izuku stands up from his spot. Let the fire inside of me. Take me over. Brighter for all to see. As the world grows colder. Find me on my knees and take me higher. Out of the wasted lives. I will rise. I will rise. The song then ended as the four of them then struck a pose. Everyone gave out a round of applause as Mirio grabbed the box. So, who's next? He asked as Momo had her phone out. Let's see, she said as she spun on the wheel on her phone and waited for a moment when it landed on someone's name. It's Komori-san. Imi? Kanoko said in surprise as the box was beamed towards her till it was now in her hands. Well, okay then. Just take your time, no need to rush, Kendo assured her classmate as Kanoko just nodded and began to choose a song in the box. While she does so, both Mina and Setsuna gave Izuku mischievous grins. So, any girls from outside the country? Mina asked, which made Izuku miss a breath and had to cough it out with a reddened face. Ashido, what did I just say? Ida yelled at her as he rapidly chopping the air. Oh, calm down, robot. We just want to know if he has someone abroad, Setsuna said with a toothy grin. It is still inappropriate to ask in front of others that aren't interested, Momo said. We do, Minta, Denki, and Awase said in the same time. Nobody asked you three, Kyoka yelled at them. This then leads to most of the audience to yell at each other, some wanting to know more, some failing to stop it, and some were only adding more wood to the fire, intentional or not. This annoyed some of the visitors, this including Rin, who has her right twitching at the rambling that was around her. Suddenly, Rin's demeanor suddenly changed as she lets Rillian take over. Enough, Rillian said in an authoritative tone, which made the argument stop. Some gulped in fear when they looked at her cold and judging stare. Then it disappeared as Rillian gave Rin back control on their body. Look, just to stop any of this, Rin said as she looked at each and every one of the audience. Including Flower and I, there are 10 girls that are in a relationship with Izuku. 10. You lucky bastard, Minta yelled as he jumps at Izuku in anger and jealousy. But he was quickly restrained by Flower's quirk with said user, immediately slapping him silly with another arm that pops out from another arm. Denki and Awase wisely didn't show their dissatisfaction. Okay, wow, I didn't expect that, Zero said in shock. I was kinda betting on only 5 or 6. T10, Ochako stuttered as she now felt depressed after hearing this. Well, technically 11 if you include Rillian in the equation, Pico said. Will there be more? Hagakure asked, which made everyone look at her. Oh please, like they would. If Izuku want to. Flower cuts Monoma off in a neutral tone, which made everyone look at the gothic singer. You serious? Kyoka asked incredulously. As long as Izuku wants to. We will not be the one deciding who could be with him. But we're not letting someone in that easily, Rin said with a stern tone. Can you please not talk about my complex love life like I'm not here? Izuku said with a full-blown blush as he has his face on his hands. Wanting to help his friend, Hansuke looked at Komori and said, Do you have a song ready? Oh, Kanoko quickly has her attention back to the box as she fumbles a bit before grabbing a random CD. Here. Can you then pass it here please? Momo said as the CD was then passed from person to person till it finally reaches the rich girl, who looked at the CD. Nearby Natsusho Takaki FT, Fukase and Yuna. It's one of your best duets, Yuki said in excitement as Fukase just has a smirk on his face. Well, play it then, Mina said in excitement as Momo then put the CD in the player. The screen then showed Fukase and a young girl inside a recording booth together. The young girl has bright blue eyes, long, electric blue hair pulled into 2 pigtails that are braided at the tips. She has thick bangs and an ahoge. Her bangs have 2 streaks of yellow, and the tips of her braids fade from blue to yellow. She also has hair ties that resembles green lightning bolts. Under her left eye is a hot pink 8th note. Her fingernails are painted blue. She wears a spherical hat on her head with black pupils, pink eyelashes, a yellow lightning bolt under its right eye, and 2 glowing translucent yellow cones on either side of its head that are like horns. She also wears a sleeveless white button-up shirt with pink stripes on the collar. Over this is a black suit jacket. The shoulders of the sleeves are unzipped, exposing her shoulders, with the cuffs of her sleeves also unzipped and billowing out up to her forearms. The lapels are dark blue with neon green trim. Her tie is red with a gold lightning bolt tie clip. On the lower bottom of the jacket is an F-hole decoration like that on a violin. Her gloves are black and green, with the thumb and pointer finger cut out. A white pleated skirt with pink stripes. A double black belt with neon green stripes and silver studs attaches a translucent electric green half skirt to the right side of her skirt. Her left thigh-high sock is hot pink with a white piano key design, and her right is mesh and attached to a band around her thigh by a black belt. Her shoes are black, chunky, heeled boots bearing neon green detailing and soles. Yuna-chan looks adorable. Mina cooed as some of the girls did as well. The song then started as Fukase began to sing. Ni ni adair ka o waratobasenakia. Jibon o urusana yuna. Kudarenai ninjan, no koto. Kimi wa duamu. Ni ni atanin, no hohaba o nagamite. Imi mo naku kakashi nai naru. Sumaranai ninjin, no koto. Kimi wa duamu. Ninia. Yuna then joined in as she was currently dancing in place. Hello, hello, I'm near. Who are you? Hello, hello, I'm near. Who are you? Hello, hello, I'm near. Who are you? Hello, hello, I'm near. Ninia igao de sagasu hibayo. Adarami to amu yuna. Gauman na ninjin no koto. Kimi wa du aimu. Katachi no nai futashika na mono wa itsutat. Kaisen o kirwe seat shimo no. Takido. Aboku wa mada shinjitaru. Kokoro nai kimi nai toikaketa no wa. Kimi no ti ga boku yorimo. Atatakaketa karasa. Fukase was now also dancing with Yuna with a smile on his face. Hello, hello, I'm near. Who are you? Hello, hello, I'm near. Who are you? Hello, hello, I'm near. Who are you? Hello, hello, I'm near. Ninia kodomo no koro nai maita. Ano yum no Tsuzuki ga kana. Muri nai tsunagata de kodo. Kimi wa du amu. I am always by your side near. Aboku wa mata kanchigai? Asu no nai kurai kono sora no shita. Kimi no ti ga boku yorimo. Furut ita kai ga shita. Hello, hello, I'm near. Who are you? Hello, hello, I'm near. Who are you? Hello, hello, I'm near. Who are you? Hello, hello, I'm near. The scene then changed to the two, now sitting by a tree with everyone else going around doing their own thing, as the both of them continued singing. Ninia der ka o waratabasanakia. Jibun o yurusanai yuna. Kudoranai bokupachi no koto. Kimi wa duamu. Aboku wa mata kidai shaitru. Boroboro demu muru kage mo nai karito. Kimi ga uru kono hoshio. Wasarataku wa nai ndiayo. Aboku wa mata shinjitaru. Nimaranai kimi nai toikaketa no wa. Kimi no ti ga boku yorimo. Atatakakata karasa. Atatakakata karasa. Hello, hello, I'm near. I love you. 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 The song then ended as the audience gave a round of applause. That was amazing, Eri said in awe as Fukase just chuckles. You haven't heard anything yet, he said as he then leans on his seat. All right, time for the next one, Momo said as she has her phone ready with everything waiting in anticipation. At Honda Airport in Saitama Prefecture, 3 young women could be seen in the terminal. The first one is a blonde-haired young girl of short, but curvy stature with pale skin, yellowish blonde hair with intake and bright lime green eyes. She wears a frilly red dress, black stockings, red shoes, and a red bow tied on the back of her head. The second one is a slender young woman of medium height, with short white hair and red eyes. She wears a black sleeveless shirt, black thigh-high leggings being held up by brown leather suspenders, a pair of black evening gloves, knee-high boots with a laced aesthetic, and a feathered black hat with a red and purple rose on it. Then the third and last one is a young woman with short black hair with teal highlights, half-lidded blue eyes with a hint of teal, and a lithe figure that seems to almost give her an androgynous look. She wears a black tank top under a blue vest that is lined with gold, black shorts with a gold chain at the side of her hip, a pair of black knee-high stockings, a pair of black-heeled shoes, and a pair of white headphones hanging around her neck. I'm so excited, the white-haired one said, as she was practically jumping on the soles of her feet. Who knew that we could disembark at the same time, but from different planes? That is really quite a coincidence, the blonde one said before letting out a discontent sigh. Too bad for the others thou, their flights got delayed. Well, we better hope that they could get here as well. Come on you two, the black-haired one said with a monotone tone, as she already got her luggage from the carousel. Keed said that she will be waiting outside the airport with our ride to Shizuoka. Well, let's go then. I hope that we could surprise Izuku when we get there, the blonde woman said as she and the white-haired one giggled. They then went to the carousel to get their luggage before leaving for their next destination. It was now winter in Japan as some of the students from Class 1A and some of Izuku's friends were setting up decorations on their dormitory, while a merry tune was played in the background. Miku, Jiraiya, and Hansuke are almost finished with the sound system as Miku went for the mic and tested it for a moment to make sure it was okay. Hansuke then gave her the okay, which made Miku smile as the sound of a xylophone was then heard, and she then began to sing. I don't want a lot for Christmas. Takoyami, Koda, Shoji, Flower, and Piko could be seen setting up decorations around the room, with Tokoyami having dark shadow, helping them reach high places. There is just one thing I need. Tenya could be seen with Ash, Todoroki, and Momo as they were arranging all of the presents that everyone brought in a pile on a table. I don't care about the presents. Katsuki could be seen cooking food alongside Fukase, Sato, and Shiro. Underneath the Christmas tree, Denki could be seen setting up the lights with Aoyama, Ochako, Georgia, Tsuyu, and Rin. I just want you for my own. More than you could ever know. Mainta could be seen on a corner, strapped to a chair as he cries, while he was being guarded by Kirishima, Ajiro, and Len. Make my wish come true. Izuku could then be seen preparing the television for other festive songs, alongside Gumi, Eri, Yuki, and Oliver. All I want for Christmas is you, yeah. Suddenly, Mina and Toru came downstairs in a rush, as they wore very festive clothes, and they carried a box filled with more of them. They then passed them around, even putting the clothes on their classmates themselves. I don't want a lot for Christmas. There is just one thing I need. Takoyami's group were then finished with their task, as they were now chatting with themselves. And I don't care about the presents. Underneath the Christmas tree, Tenya's group could then be seen sitting together on a table, as they also chat as well. I don't need to hang my stocking. There upon the fireplace, Katsuki could be seen struggling to get away from Mina, Toru, Shiro, Fukase, and Sato as they tried to put on the festive clothes on the blonde. Santa Claus won't make me happy. With a toy on Christmas Day, Denki then could be seen plugging in the Christmas lights, as he and his group look at it proudly. I just want you for my own. More than you could ever know. Mainta was currently running away from his wardens, but he was soon tackled down with Len doing an elbow drop. Make my wish come true. All I want for Christmas is you. Izuku, Gumi, Oliver, and the kids could be seen swaying with the music from the background while watching Klaus on the television. You, baby. Oh, I won't ask for much this Christmas. I won't even wish for snow. Everyone were then eating together as each and every one of them enjoyed the food, except for Mainta, who was still being kept on surveillance. And I'm just gonna keep on waiting. Underneath the mistletoe, All Might and the Big Three soon joined them as they continued their merry party. I won't make a list and send it to the North Pole for St. Nick. Aizawa then joined them along with Shinso, and Mei with the latter quickly went to chase around Pico in the room. I won't even stay awake to hear those magic reindeer click. 'Cause I just want you here tonight, holding on to me so tight. What more can I do? Baby, all I want for Christmas is you. More and more guests began to flock in Class 1A's party, including the Izuku's family and the rest of his friend group. You, baby. Oh, all the lights are shining so brightly everywhere. Everyone were then playing some games as those who weren't participating cheered them on. And the sound of children's laughter fills the air. And everyone is singing. Mainta was on the run yet again when he was noticed leering some of the girls, which leads to Mina grabbing a smaller TV and forced the midget watch the video being played with his eyes forcibly opened. I hear those sleigh bells ringing. Santa, won't you bring me the one I really need? Won't you please bring my baby to me? John could be seen talking with Izuku and Ash as Ochako, Rin, Flower, and Fluttermouse having their own talk alongside 32 other young women in other parts of the dormitory. Oh, I don't want a lot for Christmas. This is all I'm asking for. Some of the partygoers were just goofing around now, with some forming small groups and doing their own things. I just want to see my baby standing right outside my door. Everyone were then opening some presents with Izuku, John, and Ash having the most, which got then some ire from most of the boys close to their age. Oh, I just want you for my own. More than you could ever know. The party was then nearing its conclusion as most of the partygoers were either leaving or went to bed early. Make my wish come true. Baby, all I want for Christmas is you. Izuku could then be seen on the rooftop with Eri on his lap, and Ochako, Flower, Rin, and 9 other girls with him as they watch the full moon high in the sky while snow slowly falls from the sky. You, baby. All I want for Christmas is you, baby. Then each and every girl, except Eri, gave Izuku a kiss on the cheek, which made the Verdant teen blushed hard and made everyone around him laugh. The audience were about to pick another song when someone barges in. I am here. The came in All Might in his buff form as he struck a pose for the audience. All Might, everyone shouted in surprise at the sight of the retired hero. And us. Then Gumi, Mikyu, and Mickey then entered the room. Mickey Niai. Yuki then ran up to Mickey, who quickly caught her. Hey Yuki, how have you been? The female cyborg asked as Yuki just gave her a giggle. Where's Teru? Pico asked. He still has some work to do, so he went home, Mickey said as the 4 of them joined the audience, with All Might going back to his skinny form. All right. All of them saw Aizawa, Mei, and 2 other people with them. The first one is a retro-looking blonde man with glasses, and the other is a bombshell of a woman with long black hair, wearing rather provocative clothes. They are Hisashi Yamada and Nimuri Kayama, also known as the hero Present Mike and the heroine Midnight. Robot Boy. Mei excitedly called out to Pico as she then ran towards him. Get away from me, she-devil, Pico yelled at her, and he ran away with the support course student right at his literal tail. What's his problem? Miki asked the audience as she watches her younger brother being chased around. Hatsum is a support student, and she discovered that he was a cyborg, Flower explained. Why is that a problem? Miki asked with a raised eyebrow before hearing a scream from upstairs, where both Pico and Mei ran to. Stay away. You will not rip off my arm. Ah. I see then, Miki said as she shivers a bit. So who's next? Gumi asked as she then took her seat beside Izuku as Tenya stood up to give them room, while Sato gave his seat to him and sat on the floor. The newer audiences then took their seats, with some of the original having to move, or those who lives in the dorms to grab their own seats from their dorm rooms. So who's next? Flower asked as Momo pulled out her phone. I'm spinning it now, she said as she waited for the results, and then got it. It's Georgia-san. All right, cough it up, Georgia said as the box was then passed to her. She then began to look around before pulling out a CD with a smirk on her face. Sweet Rasputin by Boney M, and it's covered by Izuku. I hope you sang this one good. I was there, and I can say that it was indeed good, Hansuk said with a smirk which excites Georgia. Oh, I can't wait, she said before passing the CD to Momo. She's a bit of a fan of the mid and late 19s. Ash blurted out, which made most of the audience to let out a giggle, while his cousin looked at him with a madly blushing face. Hey, she yelled at him in embarrassment. A hitch prompts the audience to laugh again. Momo then puts the CD in the player, as the video began to play. The TV then showed Izuku on a small stage, with a mic in front of him, while Len, Ash, and John were on the side with instruments in hand. And Rin and two other girls stands behind him with microphones in front of them. One of them has short white hair like Flower, and the other has short black hair. So Rin is there. But who are those two? Denki asked. Are they also from different parts of the world? Ojiro asked. Yeah, the girl that looked almost like Flower is Frieda. She is from Germany. While the other girl is Bobai, and she is from France, Pico explained. Bobby? Isn't that a guy's name? Kirishima said. The name Bobby is considered a gender-neutral name. But it all comes to how it is spelled, Momo explained as she paused the video. Yeah, Bobai's name goes like this, B-O-B-I. But we would always call her Bo-chan, Gumi said. Then there are their nicknames, Fuke said with a smirk. Oh yeah, their nicknames are pretty unique, Hansuk said. What are their nicknames? Setsuna asked as most of the audience were curious. Well, Frieda's is Freeshooter, while Bobai's is Bolero, Ash answered, which confused everyone except Momo. Wait a second, Momo before looking at Izuku and his friends. Does those two know Fluttermouse? Yeah, they do. Flower is she, and the others saw Momo starting to get it. And what school do they attend? It's Symphonica. Oh my goodness, Momo cheerfully said, which scared most of the audience. I can't believe you knew someone from such a prestigious school. Is this Symphonica really good? Kyoka asked. Oh, Symphonica is one of the best music school across the world, Momo said in admiration as she clasps her hands together. It is also has one of largest music library in the world that ranges from old classicals to modern pop. Really now? Setsuna said with a wide grin before looking at Izuku's friends. And all of you knew this? We are singers, of course we knew, Gumi said. I was even the one who told Izuku about it. Midoriya, Kyoka then looked at the male Verdant teen. I am so jealous of you right now. Oh, I almost forgot, Momo said as she then claps her hand with a smile on her face. Symphonica also has a program that only teaches young girls to be heroes just a decade ago. Really? A school about music has that? Zero asked. They do indeed, Momo said as she then raised a finger. Rising heroes like Erlking, Tannhauser, Carmen, and Air on the G came from Symphonica, and they are slowly rising in the ranks. But that doesn't explain with Midoriya's friends, Toru said, which made Momo frown. Really? Especially when I told you the names of the heroes there, she said, which confuses most of the audience. But some of them eventually gets it. I see. Their hero names are the same names of famous classical musics, Tenya answered as he finally gets it. So Midoriya's friends also studied there as well. Yep, Fuke said, but a mischievous smirk appears on his face. And those two are in on it as well. In on it? Denki asked, which confused everyone, but it suddenly clicks in their mind. Damn you, Midoriya, you have foreign girls too. Minta yelled in jealousy as he tries to attack Izuku, but was immediately stopped by Asui and Flower, who restrained him, then knocking him out. Can we just go back to the video? Izuku asked as he was blushing madly with Gumi and Ochako comforting him. Momo then pressed play, so the video continues. Len, Ash, and John then began to play a catchy rhythmic tune, while Izuku taps his left foot. The three boys then continued to play as the three girls began to sway their hips and clap their hands, as Izuku then bops his head to the beat. Hey, 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 hey. Hey, 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 hey. Hey, 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 hey. Then he began to dance as more instruments are adding to the beat, which made it incredibly heart-stomping, till Izuku began to sing. There lived a certain man in Russia long ago. Three girls then did their part next as they sang as well. He was big and strong, in his eyes a flaming glow. Most people look at him with terror and with fear. But to Moscow chicks, he was such a lovely dear. He could preach the Bible like a preacher, full of ecstasy and fire. But he also was the kind of teacher women would desire. Rah-rah Rasputin, lover of the Russian queen. There was a cat that really was gone. Rah-rah Rasputin, Russia's greatest love machine. It was a shame how he carried on. The beat just continues as Izuku continues to dance with it. He ruled the Russian land, and never mind the Tsar. But the Kazakh he danced really wonderbar. In all affairs of state, he was the man to please. But he was real great when he had a girl to squeeze. For the queen he was no wheeler-dealer, though she'd heard the things he'd done. She believed he was a holy healer, who would heal her son. Rah-rah Rasputin, lover of the Russian queen. There was a cat that really was gone. Rah-rah Rasputin, Russia's greatest love machine. It was a shame how he carried on. Then Naofumi appeared on stage with a mic in front, as he continues the song. But when his drinking and lusting, and his hunger for power, became known to more and more people, the demands to do something about this outrageous man became louder and louder. Naofumi then joined the trio of boys on the side, as Izuku continues to dance on stage. Hey, 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 hey. 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 This man's just got to go, declared his enemies. But the ladies begged, don't you try to do it, please. No doubt this Rasputin had lots of hidden charms. Though he was a brute, they just fell into his arms. Then one night some men of higher standing set a trap. They're not to blame. Come to visit us, they kept demanding. And he really came. Rah-rah Rasputin, lover of the Russian queen. They put some poison into his wine. Rah-rah Rasputin, Russia's greatest love machine. He drank it all and said, I feel fine. Rah-rah Rasputin, lover of the Russian queen. They didn't quit, they wanted his head. Rah-rah Rasputin, Russia's greatest love machine. And so they shot him till he was dead. Then Izuku faced the audience as he did a really bad attempt of a smirk, with the microphone near his lips. Oh, those Russians. The song ended as the audience gave a round of applause. I'll give that 9 out of 10, Georgia commented, which made everyone look at her. It would be better if he did it shirtless, just to emphasize the lyrics a bit. Izuku then blushes madly as most of audience gave him cheeky smirks. A shirtless Deku, Ochako thought as she imagines Izuku without a shirt, which made her blush and drool. Is that what girls want? Muscles? Denki asked Kyoka, who gave him a look. Why are you asking me? She asked. Preferences. Really? She questioned him, which he responds by a nod. She just groans and said, okay, girls would like some muscles, but they don't want. Kyoka then looked at Eri then at Izuku. Can you put your hands on her ears? Izuku nodded and placed his hands on Eri's ears to muffle any sound that she might hear. Girls don't guys who are creeps, complete assholes and complete muscleheads, she explained to Denki. So like Bakugo and Kirishima, he questioned. What do you say, you Pikachu ripoff, hey? Both Katsuki and Ijiru said, with Katsuki being fueled with anger, while Ijiru was offended. While Bakugo is an asshole, he at least has some brains. Kirishima is more of a friendly gym dude, Kyoka answered, which made Denki nods as he pulled a notebook from who knows where and began writing. All right, who's next? Georgia asked as Momo then pulled out her phone, spun the wheel, and then received the results. Oh, me, Momo said as the box was then passed to her. She then began to look around while everyone began to talk again. So how did you meet those two? Mina asked Izuku, who just groans. Gumi laughed when she saw this, so she was one to explain. Well, Bolero was Izuku's penpal when he was 8. It was only 5 years later that the two finally met when I brought him along to Germany, when invitations for some of singers in Vocaloid, Sevio, Synth, and Utao are invited for a tour in Symphonica, Gumi said before suppressing a giggle. It was when we got there that Izuku met the two, both unintentionally. How unintentionally? Kendo asked, which made Izuku's friends trying to suppress their own laughters. While we were in the tour, most of the students in Symphonica are having their classes, so we were being watched constantly, Rin said. And during that tour, that is where Izuku met Frieda face to face, literally. Pico said with a smirk as his friends were now failing to hold their laughter and laugh out loud. Okay, what happened? Mina asked Kith, a mischievous smirk, as the others were incredibly interested. Guys, Izuku whined a bit as he tries to stop them, but he was being ignored. He slumps in defeat as Flower comforted him. Well, we were shown the school's theater with some students working on a show project when Izuku and some of the younger singers went up the stage to check the entire process of setting the stage when Izuku heard screaming, Flower said with a small smile. What happens next? Setsuna asked in excitement, as she had to use her quirk to get close and hear better. That is when Freeshooter met Izuku. She was just fixing the spotlights when she accidentally went over the railing and has to grab on a rope so she didn't fall down hard. But as she held it really tight, so she didn't slide down, she swung down, directly at Izuku, Mickey said, which made most of the audience laugh. Really? Dude, that was unlucky, Kirishima said. I was hired later from this. But I heard that the worst thing was position they were in, Fuke said. Now we are talking, Awase said in excitement, but got hit by Kendo. It's not that compromising, but it is still very embarrassing, Miku said. Well, what is it? Toru asked. Let's hear it with the person who experienced it, Len said as everyone looked at Izuku, who was now blushing badly. Our faces were only an inch from each other, he said to them. No kiss, Mina asked as Toru and Setsuna wondered as well. Almost. Just a few more millimeters, and it might happen, Pico said, which made everyone laugh again. But his meeting with Bolero was much more like a fairy tale, Gumi said with a small smile. Oh, do tell, Mina asked. Well, after the incident with Freeshooter, we have a bit of a break from the tour, so Izuku and I went exploring because he wants to see more of the place. It was when went to the school's cafe. A cafe in a school? Really? Denki questioned. Yes, now shush, Gumi said to him before continuing. Anyways, both Izuku and I went to the school's cafe to get some drinks from ourselves. Then that is where Izuku found Bolero with her broken cassette player. It is a very sentimental gift from her family, Izuku said with a small smile on his face. Okay, how about you take the lead for this part, Gumi said to him, which made Izuku freeze on the spot when eyes were on him. Well, I then approached her, of course, and I asked if anything was wrong. She was confused at first when I realized I asked her in Japanese, so I spoke to her in English, which Gumi taught me, and the both Bolero and I talk with each other. She then gave me her cassette tape, and I saw the problem, Gumi, and I fixed it, and Bolero was happy, Izuku told as a look of accomplishment appeared on his face. You should have seen how cute her smile was, I swear. I thought my teeth were rotting because of how cute it was, Gumi said before letting out a cough. Anyways, the two of them would then realize who they were, and they would hang out whenever either one of them got invited and call each other from time to time. Any chance of those two coming here? Zero asked. Maybe. Heck, they might even be doing it now, Pico said. Alright everyone, I got one, Momo said with a CD in hand. What is it? Todoroki asked. Oh, it's Capriccio Farce by Mothi, Momo said. Yeah, that was one of the many experiences Rillian hated when I went through her memories, Rin said with a shiver as her left hand tightly clenched. Is the thing about the existence of a different really true? Yui asked. There's the existence of a black hole quirk. So why not something that goes through time and space? Fuke said with a shrug. Alright everyone, I have put it in, Momo said with the remote in hand as everyone then focused on the screen as the rich girl pressed play. Then on screen was a feather with a closed red curtain as both Rin and Len stood in front of the curtain in rather cute servant outfits. The song then began to play as the curtains open up to reveal a courtroom-like setting, as the twins then has their backs against each other, and they began to sing. Kara no Hikokuseki. Garakuta Bakari no BCH Seki. Sa, Hajimu Sabin de Eu Chaban wo. A beautiful and haunting melody was then played as both Rin and Len went off stage. The creepy atmosphere just continues to grow before three banging was heard with Miku standing at the judge's podium, and a young with pink hair, currently having a black wig, sits at the witness stand. Kami no me na yori sagashimatomu. Otsuwa mo nokuru wa ado hitatsu dek. Sono erika wo mishimo shuru no naraba. Sor wo sh gen nasai. Toki no manchi yu. Toki wo ko sugata wo ki nushi wo ki. Sor wa sud nai budai nai tijio shite eru. Serdo ima no erika wo where mo shirazu. Asaraku wa anoko no ti no nakanai. Both Rin and Len then appeared at the middle of the stage with cheerful looks on their faces. Sages, Eitsu wo sagas. Migi ka hidari ka aru wa shida ka. Subit no kagi wo nijidaru. Meikai no aruji wo sagas. Kaido is then shown in front of a clock face with a somber look on his face. Itsu made kono. Chaban wo tsuzukaru no ka. Sonosaki nai wa nani monai. Miko then appeared in the jury box with both Rin and Len beside her. Wana nai ochita adamu no tamashio. Ame no nasru kodo nado mo nani mo nai. The Kagami twins then went down and began to act dramatically at the center stage. Yuragu tenbin midorita scenario. Sumi nai yogurita utsuwa takai. Anuno no yuda wo kat nai. Kanadaru fukiweon no kapurisho. The wig-wearing woman then did her part with a menacing aura around her along with Mako. Monogatari wa sud nai kamitu. Akuma no ti wo hanarit hitarariki. Kara gamashimo kono kai nai ita no. Naraba koit naitku dero. Kaido then has his back at the rim of the clock face as Miku raises the mallet that was on her hand before bringing it down. Hanto nai asaroshi no wa. Ninjin no yokubo data. The haunting melody continues to play as various information appears on screen before the song continues with Miku looking around. Tsukoshi jicho wo sari shimasho. Akuma no kai wo hiku iyashiki otoko yo. Kyoka shite ajiru no dekatari nasai. Ami ga kono morinai. Kita toki no koto wo. A young man with long violet hair and a ponytail was then on the witness stand with a determined look. Where no mai nai yadaru imawashiki noroi. Sor wo toku tame nai hitsuyo tanaru. Senzo yurai no ken wo modamit. Hitori de kono mori nai yat kita. Both Rin and Lan appeared on stage again with shovels in hand. Koros kuri miri nara tsukamero. Mori nai heda fudita kisha wo. Miku was then slamming on the mallet hard as the tempo continues in its fast pace. Sabek, sabek, tanakaku sabek. Kaite, hanketsu, shikai. The violet-haired man then slams his fist on the witness stand before having that same hand on his chest. Tarara kakugo wo kanta toki nai. Kemagur shgo gati wo sashinokta. Rin then appeared on the jury stand alone in a different servant's outfit. Chdo zetsuyo gakari ga hashikata no. Sashite where wa niwashi nainada. Both the violet-haired man and pink-haired then appeared on the center of the stage with the man glaring, while the woman has a sinister smile. Toki no machi noraware to niwashi. Mezum no utsuwa no daihin. Anuno no yabo mun nai haimru. Fuunbunchi no inbeta. The pink-haired woman then went away as Rin took her place. Ningyo kancho hakaba no aruji. Haguruma matsu mano. Then a cloaked figure was shown on screen with fire surrounding them. Meikai no aruji. Subit no oeri ga adashirta toki. Warid uru, no wa dare na no ka. Then from somewhere on the stage, Len's voice could be heard. Ru rai ra ruri ruri ra. Hibaku irajura no kodo. More information then appears on screen as the rhythm slows down, which gives it a different haunting feeling, when it suddenly picks up its pace with Mako on the center stage. Ijo, Torama, Seigi, Jinkaku. Then Kaido. Kibo, Hametsu, Yum, Yoku, Aichi. Then Miku. Subit wo Takashite Mawari Tsuzukuru. Then Rin. Zenmeji Cake no Komori Yuta. Len's echoing voice continues to be heard throughout the stage. Kodoku na Otoko ga Sono, Shino Majua. Then the purple-haired man appeared on center of the stage. Tsukuriageta Iga Kan. Then the pink-haired woman. Karaga Nozond Ida Itopia wa. Then the cloaked figure with fire then appeared as Gumi's voice could be heard from them. Kansei Suru no Daroka? Then everyone gathered together on the center stage for ending of the song. Sa Maidodokyo. Jinsei to Iu Chabanwo. Everyone then bowed as the song then ended. The audience then gave a loud round of applause for the recorded performance. Man, I can't wait to watch more of the series, Kirishima said. No kidding, I think all of it would be Fumi's preference, Dark Shadow said, which made Fumikage glare at his living shadow. Alright, next one, Momo said before spinning the wheel on her phone again. It's Eri. Me? Eri asked as she points at herself. The box was then passed over to her, which made her smile, and she began to rummage through the CDs. It better not be one of those annoying children's songs, Katsuki mutters, which made everyone look at him. Hey, all of you jerks also think most of them are as well. Everyone couldn't really have nothing to say since it was true. Here. Eri then pulled out a CD, as it was then passed to Momo. Oh, it's You'll Be in My Heart by Phil Collins, Momo said when she saw the title. Oh, Uncle Red sang that, Georgia said. Is this from my mom's birthday 3 years ago? Ash asked the gang. Yeah, it is, Hansuk said. Play it, Momo, I want to hear this, Toru said as the rich girl then put the CD in the player. It then showed a large birthday party with Ash's mom sitting on comfy chair at the back of building that was rented, and Ash's father kneeling on her left with a guitar in hand. He then began to play and sing as their guests and the audience watches. Come, stop your crying. It will be all right. Just take my hand. Hold it tight. I will protect you. From all around you. I will be here. Don't you cry. As he continues to play, Ash's father stood up and sat by his mom, as two shared a warm smile with each other. For one so small. You seem so strong. My arms will hold you. Keep you safe and warm. This bond between us can't be broken. I will be here, don't you cry. 'Cause you'll be in my heart. Yes, you'll be in my heart. From this day on. Now and forevermore. You'll be in my heart. No matter what they say. You'll be here in my heart. Always. Then most of the guests then stood up, and they began to dance with their partners in the middle of the room. Why can't they understand the way we feel? They just don't trust what they can't explain. I know we're different, but deep inside us, we're not that different at all. And you'll be in my heart. Yes, you'll be in my heart. From this day on. Now and forevermore. Don't listen to them. 'Cause what do they know? What do they know? We need each other. To have, to hold. They'll see in time. I know. Ash's mom then leaned on his father, and he smiled at her. Ash then came into view as he took the guitar from his father, and they held each other close as they walked towards the middle of the room and began to dance while Ash continues the song. When destiny calls you, you must be strong, you gotta be strong. I may not be with you, but you've got to hold on. They'll see in time. I know. We'll show them together. 'Cause you'll be in my heart. Believe me, you'll be in my heart. I'll be there from this day on. Now and forevermore. Ash's parents then held each other close as they just sway with the beautiful melody. Oh, you'll be in my heart. You'll be here in my heart. No matter what they say, I'll be with you. You'll be here in my heart. I'll be there always. Always. I'll be with you. The of them then look at each other, their eyes showing each other's affection, and their smiles warm each other's heart. I'll be there for you always. Always and always. Just look over your shoulder. Just look over your shoulder. Just look over your shoulder. I'll be there always. The two of them then shared a kiss as the video ended. The audience then gave a round of applause while Aizawa looked at the time in his phone. He then stood up from his seat and looked towards the rest of the audience. We will continue this tomorrow, he said to them. But why? Najire whined as she and most of the audience were not happy as well, especially the new arrivals. Because it's almost night, he said, which prompts everyone to grab their phones to look at the clock. And it was indeed almost night. Did we really watch that for that long? Zero questioned. Yes, Aizawa said sternly, which made all of the teenagers flinch from his tone. So go have dinner, clean this place, and go to sleep. We might also get more chairs so everyone doesn't have to sit on the floor, Midnight said. Most of the audience reluctantly accept as everyone stood up, and some either went to cook dinner, while the rest cleaned up the mess they did. Only Aizawa was the only adult in the room, as the others went out already, and he wanted to supervise the cleaning so no one was lazing around. Later, Izuku was now in his room, letting out a satisfied sigh from the dinner that he had with the others as he sat by his desk. It was then that he heard a knock from his door, as he looked towards it and walked over to it. He then opened it to see that it was Ochako standing there. Uraraka-san, what are you doing here? He asked her as Ochako nervously looked down. Well, I think we can help explain this. Izuku then looked behind Uraraka and saw Flower and Rin standing behind her. It's better if I told him, Ochako said to the two reassuringly as Rin and Flower just nods. What is going on? He asked. Ochako then took a deep breath and then said, I have bottled this feeling for a long time. Izuku then gained a look of understanding as he smiled and said, You were about to confess to me, weren't you? This made Ochako blush, which caused Izuku to let out a nervous chuckle. Yeah, after 5 confessions, I already began to notice signs of some of it, Izuku said to her. So, do you think that you would give me a chance? Ochako asked. Don't think that you are the only who has any attraction between us. I do too. But I don't know if you had changed your mind until now, Izuku explained. No way. You are the only that is in my heart after you got me out of the rubble during the extrains exam, Ochako said as she held her hands close to her heart. After that, I only thought that it was only a simple crush. But I began to realize that it wasn't anymore after our first terms. She then gave him a look of conviction, all of her nervousness now gone. I have fallen for you, Izuku Midoriya, and I hope you at least accept it. After that, Ochako blinked as she registered what she said, and began to blush badly, which prompts Izuku, Rin, and Flower to chuckle. Did I say all of that? Yeah, who knew you got some guts under that cute face? Rin commented, which made Ochako blush more as she slowly began to faint. Then a single hand grabbed her right arm, and she saw that it was Izuku, who was also giving her a soft smile. Sure, we could at least try if it does work out, he said to the brunette, who could look at him in shock and amazement before gaining her resolves again. And I'll make sure that it does, she said with a smile which made Izuku happy. All right, Let's sleep then, Rin said as Flower then grabbed something near Izuku's door, and it was 3 pillows. This confused both UA students at first, but when Rin gave a cheeky look, they began to blush madly. Why can't we just sleep in our own dorms? There are still some rooms left, Ochako questioned the two. Think of this as a welcoming party. This was Nero's idea, and it just became a thing after she joined, Rin explained, which only made Ochako blush harder, as Izuku tries to keep her from falling over. If you want to make this less awkward, let's have Eri sleep with us as well, Flower suggested. Can I, Izuku, Ochako? And Rin then jumped in surprise as they looked at Flower and saw Eri hiding behind her legs. Well, why not? Izuku answered, which made Rin nod, and her demeanor suddenly changed again as Rillian took over and gave him a tempting smile. I'll see you later then, my shy prince, Rin's alter ego said before leaving. We'll just have a bath and come back in our pajamas, Flower said as she then looked at Eri. Come on then, let's go to the bathroom and wash up. The 2 white-haired girls then left, which leaves only Izuku and Ochako by themselves. I should go as well, the brunette said to him. Why yeah, I also need to take a bath, Izuku said as Ochako was about to leave when she immediately turned around and gave Izuku a peck on the cheek. This made Izuku froze for a bit as Ochako ran off in embarrassment. He then slowly put his hand on the place where he was kissed, and the only thing he could do was smile and closed his door so he could prepare for his bath. The first thing that Izuku Midoriya noticed when he woke up was he wasn't alone in his own bed. Beside him in his own bed was Ochako, Rin, Flower, and Eri. Both Ochako and Rin sleeping on his right, while Flower and Eri sleep on just left. Izuku then slowly sat up, so he wouldn't wake them before stretching his arms and letting out a yawn. Awake already? Izuku flinched as he looked and saw Flower awake, and she was looking at him with one eye open. Izuku just smiled as he scratches the back of his head and said, We have a lot of things to do today. Flower just hums and sat up as well as she lightly shakes Eri and said softly, Wake up now, we will be having pancakes for breakfast. Pancakes? Eri mumbled as she opened her tired eyes. Would there be brioche as well? They then looked to see Rin awake, but the look on her face shows that Rillian was in control. We can have some egg drop sandwiches, Izuku suggested, which made Rillian mouth water at the thought. He then looked at the sleeping Uraraka, giving her a weak shake. Hey, wake up. We still have some things to do. 5 more minutes, she mumbled in her sleep, which only made Izuku smile. Maybe I could ask Sato-san to make some mochai for breakfast. That did the trick as Ochako sprung up from her sleep. Mochai? She asked, which made Izuku chuckle, and she slightly blushes. Damn it, fuck-ass. They heard Pico shout from outside as they look at each other. I guess we aren't the only ones awake, Flower commented. And that dimwit of a clown is the cause of it, Rillian said with a scoff. Izuku just chuckles at this and said, and we should really get ready for the day. Everyone agreed and prepared themselves for the day. Class 1A and their guests were then seen eating breakfast at the dining area. So what happened back there? Izuku asked Pico, who was grumbling. Sir Memilord here, he said while pointing at a smirking Fucase. Thought that it'd be funny switching my alarm to Shota Island. Really? Len asked the redhead in annoyance. When did you even do that? When we were watching yesterday, Fucase said as he took a bite of his pancake. I hate that song with my very being. It's not my fault that I looked slim, the white-haired cyborg said in anger. I am really trying to forget it, but it is somehow always in someone's recommendation. It's on the internet. No one will forget about it, Mina said with a teasing grin. You and Len do look great in maid outfits. Right, Mickey said with a wide smile. I even have a custom-made maid outfit for him. And I am not going to wear it, Pico angrily said as he crossed his arms. One day, you will. I even have one for Len ready, Mickey said with a mischievous smile, which unnerved her brother and Len. So what will be today's plan? Denki asked. We'll listen to more song, of course, Mina answered with a cheerful smile. But it does get quite boring only listening to songs all day. The only reason we didn't bore ourselves because Izuku invited his friends here, Kyoka pointed out. Well, how about we go outside to get some fresh air and do other things as well, Gumi said as everyone thought about it. Yeah, let's do that, Denki said as everyone agreed with the idea. Well, let's finish breakfast first then. Bang, 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 bang. Everyone quickly ducked down when they heard 5 gunshots, except for Izuku, who suddenly set his foot on the table. And with a simple activation of his quirk, he whipped his right hand to the left in an instant, and it stopped with a closed fist. Bang. Then he did it again with his left hand. But instead of stopping with a closed fist, it stopped with only the pointer and middle finger extended, and everyone on the table saw something between his extended fingers. A single gold bullet. This made the class guests let out a sigh of annoyance, while Izuku opened his right hand to reveal 5 of the same golden bullet. You should really not shoot inside, Izuku said, which confused most of the people of the room, before dropping on the bullets on the table. But none of them made a single metallic sound, even if they were duds. But how can I know if your reflexes are good? Everyone then looked to entrance of the dorms. There standing by the doors were Freeshooter, Bolero, the blonde-haired girl, and the shielder, and Freeshooter currently has a flintlock on her right hand. Shooting out of nowhere isn't a good idea to introduce yourself, Georgia shouted in annoyance as Freeshooter just shrugged with a smile on her face. Hello, Bolero just casually greets the students, who were currently gobsmacked from the interaction that was happening. Then Tenya came out of his stupor and shouted, Do you know how dangerous that was? If they were real bullets, then it would be guaranteed that you will be arrested for having a dangerous firearm. Relax, I will never bring real bullets with me, Freeshooter said to them before having a cheery smile on her face. Thou you should really get used to it since there are villains that uses firearms. That's beside the point, Tenya angrily said as he robotically chops the air, but Frieda just sheepishly chuckles, and she, Bolero, and the blonde girl walked over to the table. It's nice to see you again, my preacher. The blonde girl then greeted Izuku, who gave a nervous chuckle. Hey Nero, he returns the gesture nervously. Who is she? Gyro asked as the blonde girl then looked towards class 1A. How come you know these two but not me? She questioned them. We saw them while watching through Midoriya's CDs, Kirishima said as the blonde girl looked at them. Unbeknownst to her and the students, Izuku and his friends knew the reason why she wasn't in most of them. And you haven't seen me in one of them yet? She asked again, much more annoyed. We don't know. We actually haven't looked through all of them yet, Ciro explained. Just introduce yourself, Nero, Bolero said to blonde girl, who just huffs. Fine, my name is Nero Claudius, the Red Rose of Italy, Umu. She introduced herself to the students in a pompous way. Might as well join in, Freeshooter said cheerfully with her hands behind her head. Frieda Jaeger, but my friends calls me Freeshooter. I'm from Germany. I'm Keed Honjo, but my friends call me Maple, the now named Maple introduced. Bobai Bandolier, but my friends call me Bolero, Bolero said rather casually. I'm from France. Oh man, I really want to go to those places. Are those places really great from how people say it? Mina asked their guests. They were beautiful, Mickey said with a dreamy look. The cities, the local plants and fauna, the food, and so much more. It was an experience. Speaking of food, the food there, Fukase then did a chef's kiss. Were divine. Especially their native dishes. I really hope that you guys could have us go there during our break, Denki said with a bit of excitement. Don't worry about it, but please only do it sparingly. That would just be abuse of power, Pico warned them. Anyways, what are you guys having? Freeshooter asked as she sheepishly rubbed the back of her head. I kinda missed breakfast. She isn't used to the time zone yet, Bolero casually explained. She also slept late because she was binging on Japanese books late at night. Really? Rin asked with a deadpan look. I really wanted to learn. I even planned to visit Japan again when we're going to have our break, Freeshooter cheerfully said as she slightly tipped her hat down. That would have to wait. Most of them jumped in surprise as they looked towards the door and saw Aizawa walking towards them. Oh, Hobo-san. Freeshooter merrily greeted the teacher as she waved at him, which made most of the students look shocked at what she said. Still blunt as ever, Miss Jaeger, Aizawa responded rather calmly, but everyone could see that he was irked by it. How is Negenda doing? Mom is doing fine. Early retirement has been doing her greatly, and the business is booming, Freeshooter said with her hands on her hips as Aizawa just nods. Sensei, do you know her? Momo asked. I know her mother, Negenda Jaeger, a former German vigilante that helped stop the corruption that was happening throughout Europe, as she led a group known as the Night Raid. Night Raid? Shoji asked as most of the students looked confused. They were a well-known vigilante group in Europe, Tenya explained as he crossed his arms. They disbanded almost 20 years ago, after taking out the great European empire to free the continent from its corruption. I was still a student in U. When that happened. And the reports about it are not good, Aizawa said as he shook his head. You could even think of that time as the worst times to be alive. Indeed, ever since the now-deceased Honest was chosen to be the Prime Minister of the Empire, Europe have turned itself back when it was still in the Dark Ages, but worse, Momo said with a look of anger. Their borders were closed from the outside world. Taxes were so high for the common people, and there are so many atrocities that they did that I am disgusted to even name one of them. It was indeed a sad time. The students and their guests then blinked from the new voice as they looked around before something popped out of Aizawa's scarf. It was a stout creature who appears to be a possible combination of several different animals, including a dog, a mouse, and a bear, which would make it a chimera. It has the head of a mouse with circular black eyes, a large scar over the right one, relatively rectangular-shaped ears with pale pink insides slanting outwards from the top of its head, and an elongated muzzle with a small round nose. Its fur is white and has large, dog-like paws with pink pads and a thin tail like that of a cat. It sports a white dress shirt, a dark red tie around its neck, a black double-breasted waistcoat, and matching dress pants. It wears orange lace-up sneakers with incredibly thick soles, which seem to be quite large on it. Principal Nezu, the student said in surprise. That's your principal? Pico asked as he points to Nezu. Hello, Ratman, Oliver greeted Nezu with a smile which made Nezu chuckle a bit. Hello to you too, young child, Nezu said as he then jumped off from Aizawa and stood on the ground. So how has our guest been doing? I hope you enjoyed your time here. We have Mr. Nezu. A bit of troublemaking here and there, but it's good, Rin said. Then I am glad, Nezu said before having an interested look. You and your brother really interest me, alter egos that have come from a different plane of existence. A very interesting subject to know more, wouldn't you agree? Yeah, sure, Rin said, unsure what to say, which only made Nezu laugh. Now in a more serious note, we have a surprise for all of you, he said to them, which made everyone interested. What is it? Denki asked. That is not a purpose of a surprise, Nezu said rather playfully as he then went up to Aizawa and sat on his shoulder. Follow us, and we'll show you. Can we finish breakfast first? Sato asked as everyone looked to see that most of them haven't finished theirs yet. Oh sure, this would only give us more time to prepare for your surprise, Nezu said as he clapped his paws together before looking at Aizawa. Let's go now, Shota. There's more work to be done. Said teacher just grumbled as he and Nezu then left the students and their guests. But Aizawa gave everyone one last look. And don't forget to bring the box, Aizawa said and continued his way outside, now leaving his students and their guests by themselves. Well, everyone, finish up so we could see the surprise that they expect us to see, Gumi said as everyone agreed with her. Leave me some pancakes, Freeshooter shouted. Me too, Maple shouted as well as she and Freeshooter quickly went to the kitchen to get a plate, which made everyone laugh. Class 1A and their guests were then waiting outside the dorms with some of them using their phones to pass the time. How long do we wait here? It's like an hour now? Zero asked as he was leaning on a wall. They probably not finished setting up the surprise, Freeshooter said as she sits beside Flower. It might no be that, especially since they did ask us to come with them to show it to us, Mickey said. Say, do the two of you related somehow? Denki asked Freeshooter and Flower. You two almost look the same. Freeshooter laughed from this and said, Yeah, no, we aren't related. Even gotten a DNA test to see if we were distant relatives. But it came our negative. I'm even glad it was after we see it, Flower said with an annoyed look. What happened? Shoji asked as their guests, minus Flower, were smirking. When Freeshooter and Flower met, Freeshooter thought she met a long-lost relative of hers, Fukase said with a chuckle as Flower has gotten even more annoyed. It got Flower so annoyed for 3 days that she requested a DNA test with her, and that finally ended it for her. Ignoring the similarities, I kinda see Flower being the combination of Freeshooter and Bolero with Freeshooter's appearance and Bolero's personality, Ash said, which everyone think of it. Yeah, I can see it, Kyoka said when she starts to look around. Where is she anyway? Oh, over there, Gumi said as she casually points to her left, as everyone looked where she points, and were met with a cute sight. There by a different wall was Izuku, as he was currently having a short nap, while Bolero naps on his lap with her headphones on, and Eri sleeping by his side. The three of them looked very peaceful when everyone saw this. They look so adorable, Mina said in a cutesy tone when she saw this. Lucky bastard, Minta mutters with venom in his tone, which shows his jealousy towards the male Verdantine. Hey, Sensei is coming, Denki called to everyone as they looked to see Aizawa walking over towards them. Their teacher then stood in front of them as he looked at each and every teen and said, Good, all of you are here. So where is this surprise? Todoroki asked. It's in the school, so follow me, Aizawa said to them as Len walked over to Izuku, Bolero, and Eri. Hey, Zuku, wake up, the blonde boy said as he slightly shook Izuku, who slowly opened his eyes and let out a yawn. Are we going now? Izuku asked as he rubbed his eyes. Len then nodded as Izuku then looked at Bolero and Eri before slightly shaking the two. Wake up, my sensei is here. The two girls on him let out soft groans as Eri sat up, and let out cute yawn, while rubbing her eyes and Bolero sitting up as she take off her headphones. Are we going now? Bolero asked as she stretches her arms. Yep, Freeshooter said as she stood up along with those who were sitting and gained an excited look. I am pretty excited what this surprise is. Well, lead the way, Aizawa-san, Miku said as Aizawa just nods and gestures everyone to follow him. They did so, and they left the vicinity of the dorms and went to the school. Later, everyone were now walking through one of the many corridors of U, with Aizawa in front of his students and their guests before stopping in front of a lone door in the hallway. Well, here we are, Aizawa said as he then looked towards the teens and children behind him. All of you go inside one by one, all right? Everyone nodded, but Aizawa gave them a glare, which were directed to some of the people in the group. If you don't, you will get the benefits that you would get from this room. What are the benefits? Denki asked. You can watch here every weekends till if you are graduated, and can host anything here. Aizawa answered as everyone now knows what the room is now. It's a theater, both Mina and Toru said in excitement, as they were about to rush in when Aizawa glared at him. I am not bluffing about me denying you the benefits, he said with a serious tone, which made the two girls gulp in fear. He then gestures inside. Now get in, slowly. Everyone then walked inside in a fine line, and everyone were amazed from what they saw. It was a large theater with exactly 80 seats, which leads up towards the projector room, a restroom at the opposite end of the door, and the expected large screen that is displayed at the opposite side of the projector room. This is so cool, Pico said in amazement, while having the box of CDs in his arms. No kidding, who could have known that we have something like this? Zero said as everyone began to look around. So why are we using this now? Denki asked as everyone began to look around. Believe it or not, this was supposed to be used as a briefing room for us staff members, but Nezu decided to let you have permission to use it, Aizawa said before looking towards the group of children. Carry the box of CDs to the projector, and everyone wait here for everyone else. Everyone nodded as Pico went to the projector, while the rest took their seats. As they took their seats, most of the students noticed that Izuku took a seat at the center, and sitting near him, either from the same row as him, or from the front or back row from his, were Iri, Ochako, Flower, Rin, Freeshooter, Bolero, Maple, and Nero. Lucky bastard, Minta muttered in jealousy, but he was soon hit at the back of his head by Kyoka. Look at him all you want, you'll never get one like him, she said, which made the short pervert whine before taking their seats. As they settled down, the door opens up to reveal the rest audience as Class 1B, the Big Three, Shinso, and Mei looked around in amazement, while most of US staff went in. This is awesome, Tetsu cheerfully said as he and his classmates looked around. I can't believe we have something like this, Yosu said. Well, those three are new, Setsuna said, while pointing at Freeshooter, Bolero, and Nero. Weren't those two from the video yesterday? Indeed they are, Kodai affirmed. All right everyone, take your seats, Vlad King said to his students, as everyone then went to randomly pick their own seats. Nezu then ran up to All Might's shoulder and said, Everyone here? Everyone gave out a call of confirmation, which made Nezu cackle as he pulled out a remote. Then let's start. He then pressed a button as the giant screen showed a spinning roulette wheel before slowing down to someone's name. It's me, Setsuna cheerfully said as she then looked towards the projector where Pico is standing by. Is there any Shakira songs there? Pico looked through the box then said, There are. Then show us Hips Don't Lie. Pico then looked through the box again and found the song's name and played it as everyone then has their eyes on the giant screen. The screen then showed a young Inko, as she is currently standing on stage, with a small crowd of people in front of her, as she wears a sleeveless white shirt, a blue knee-length exotic skirt, and low-heeled sandals. Your mom looks really good there, Mina said to Izuku. How come she doesn't anymore? Both Izuku and Gumi were uncomfortable to answer, so they kept quiet, which was odd for most of the viewers, but they kept their questions to themselves for now as they have their focus on the giant screen, as the song began to play. Then from the backstage, a young man with messy black hair came out in a suit and hat as the song began to play. Ladies up in here tonight. No fighting. We got the refugees up in here, no fighting. No fighting. Shakira, Shakira. The young man then stood beside Inko, as the two to them began to dance with smiles on their faces. I never really knew that she could dance like this, hey. She make a man wants to speak Spanish. A como si llama? She, Benita she. My casa, su casa Shakira, Shakira. It was then Inko's turn to sing as she has her hands on her hips. Oh, baby, when you talk like that, you make a woman go mad. So be wise she, and keep on she. Reading the signs of my body uno, dos, tres, cuatro. I'm on tonight. You know my hips don't lie, no fighting. And I'm starting to feel it's right. All the attraction, the tension. Don't you see, baby? This is perfection. It was then the young man's turn as he circles around Inko, while she continues to shake her hips. Hey, girl, I can see your body moving. And it's driving me crazy. And I didn't have the slightest idea. Until I saw you dancing, yeah. And when you walk up on the dance floor. Nobody cannot ignore the way you move your body. Girl, just move. And everything so unexpected. The way you right and left it. So you can keep on shaking it, let's go. The two of them then held each other's hands with bright smiles on their faces. I never really knew that she could dance like this. She make a man wants to speak Spanish. O como si llama. She, bonita she. My casa, su casa Shakira, Shakira. Oh, baby, when you talk like that, you make a woman go mad. So be wise she and keep on she. Reading the signs of my body, no fighting. I'm on tonight. You know my hips don't lie, no fighting. And I am starting to feel you, boy. Come on, let's go, real slow. Don't you see, baby, así es perfecto. They know I am on tonight. My hips don't lie. And I'm starting to feel it's right. All the attraction, the tension. Don't you see, baby, this is perfection, Shakira, Shakira. Oh, boy, I can see your body moving. Half animal, half man. I don't really know what I'm doing. But you seem to have a plan. My will and self-restraint have come to fail now. See, I am doing what I can, but I can't, so you know. That's a bit too hard to explain. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro. The two of them then have their backs at one another as they began to clap their hands. Baila en la cal de noche, yeah. Baila en la cal de dia, let's go. Baila en la cal de noche. Baila en la cal de dia. I never really knew that she could dance like this. She make a man wants to speak Spanish. O como si llama. She, bonita she. My casa, su casa Shakira, Shakira. Oh, baby, when you talk like that, you know you got me hypnotized. So be wise she and keep on she. Reading the signs of my body. Senorita, feel the conga. Let me see you move like you come from Colombia. The sound of trumpets could then be heard as the crowd before them began to cheer. Yeah, ladies she, yandao. Hey, yeah. Mira en Barranquilla si baila así, say it. Yeah. En Barranquilla si baila así, yeah. Hey, BRRA. Yeah, she's so sexy, every man's fantasy. A refugee like me back with the Fugees from a third world country. I go back like when Pac carried crates for Humpty Humpty. We leave the whole club dizzy. Why the CIA wanna watch us? Colombians and Haitians. I ain't guilty, it's a musical transaction. Bo bop so bop, no more do we snatch ropes. Refugees run the seas cause we own our own boats, no fighting. I'm on tonight, my hips don't lie. And I'm starting to feel you, boy. Come on, let's go, real slow. Baby, like this is perfecto, no fighting. You know I'm on tonight, my hips don't lie. And I am starting to feel it's right. The attraction, the tension. Baby, like this is perfection. No fighting. No fighting. The song then ended as a massive applause were delivered by those from the audience and those on screen. Another banger, thou I wonder that guy was? Ciro questioned. Yeah, who is he? Toru asked Izuku as almost everyone looked at the Verdant teen, who looked nervous, while some also looking at Gumi, who looked very uncomfortable. He's our dad, Midoriya Hisashi, Izuku said uncomfortably, which made everyone look confused with his nervousness, while his friends, Aizawa, All Might, and Katsuki were feeling uncomfortable as well. They, of course, wanted some answers, but they held their tongue for now. All right, next one, Nezu said as he pressed the button on the remote he has, and the giant screen yet again showed the wheel as it spins for the next person to be picked, till it finally landed on someone's name. Wonderful, it's my turn, Aoyama said joyfully as he looked towards Pico. Do you have songs from the Fat Rat? Sure do, we played some of them, Pico called out from the back. Then can you play Mayday? The blonde said as Pico rummaged through the box till he finally found it and put it in the projector and pressed play. On screen, Gumi is standing on a balcony under the starry night sky as she looks towards the horizon with a smile on her face. The song then began to play as a soft began to play and Gumi began to sing. Can you hear? Can you hear? Can you hear my voice? Coming through, coming through, coming through the noise. I'm floating through outer space. I'm lost, and I can't find a way. Oh, all the lights going dark and my hopes destroyed. Help me, is anybody there? Is anybody there? Is anybody there? Save me, I'm running out of air. Ooh. Gumi then sat on the guardrails and looked upwards to see the starry sky, calling out Mayday. Everyone just sway with the song as they move along its melody. Calling out Mayday. It's so dark out here in space. And it's been so long since I've seen a face. My eyes are shut, but I can see the void between you and me. And I feel like I'm going insane. Help me, is anybody there? Is anybody there? Is anybody there? Save me, I'm running out of air. Ooh. Gumi the reached out to sky with her right hand, as the stars twinkle in the dark sky. Calling out Mayday. Calling out Mayday. Far from the sun. Beyond stars I hear their song. They're coming closer. Talking without sound. Calling me home. Gumi then looked towards the door connecting to the balcony to see Mikyu inside watching TV as a smile formed on her face. Calling out Mayday. Gumi then went inside and sat beside Mikyu, and the two of them embarked each other. Calling out Mayday. Then the two of them just watch as Gumi's voice keeps playing in the background. Save me. I'm running out of air. 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 The audience then let out a round of applause, while some of the girls were squealing at the end. You two are so cute with each other, Mina said as some of the audience agreed with her. Thanks, Gumi said as she wrapped her right arm around Miku's shoulder, which Mikyu reciprocated by leaning on her. We've been through a lot when we finally ask each other out. Some loved it, some hated it, but we didn't care, Miku said as she and Gumi smiled. All right folks, next one, Fuke said, which ruined the mood a bit. But they do need to focus. All right, here we go. Nezu then presses the remote as the wheel appeared and began to spin. Then it began to slow down and stops to the next volunteer. It's my turn then, Shihai said as the black user turned towards Pico. Do you guys have Papa Roach? Oh yes we do, Pico said with an appreciative smile. Then play Last Resort. Pico then began to rummage through the box till he found the CD, puts in the projector and pressed play. The screen then showed a small indoor stage with Izuku and Fukase on it, along with another boy with them. He has unkempt brown hair, green eyes, pale skin, and he is quite skinny for his age, though he shows a lot of muscle definition due to being athletic. He wears a black shirt that has a green stripe in the middle with a white 10 and green stripes on the sides of his shirt. He wears brown cargo pants with pockets at the knees with a brown belt hidden under the shirt and green and white shoes. Hi, it's Ben, Fukase said with a grin on his face. Who's he? Toru asked with everyone else wanting to know as well. He is a friend of ours from the States, Hansuke explained. Whenever we do go to the States, we would always go to him and hang out. He would always show us the best of the country, Fukase said before a frown formed on his face. It really makes us forget for a moment how bad it can be there. There's a lot of things that is bad here in Japan too, Ash said with a shrug. Same could be said in Britain. Okay, let's get into politics. Start it, Pico, Mickey shouted to her brother as he then continued the video. On stage, Ben then grabbed the mic and began to sing. Cut my life into pieces. This is my last resort. Both Izuku and Fukase then played their instruments as Ben continued singing. Suffocation, no breathing. Don't give a fuck if I cut my arm bleeding. Most of the audience were now bopping their heads to beat, and some of the rock fans were just jamming out with Kyoka doing an air guitar. This is my last resort. Cut my life into pieces. I've reached my last resort. Suffocation, no breathing. Don't give a fuck if I cut my arm bleeding. Do you even care if I die bleeding? Would it be wrong? Would it be right? If I took my life tonight? Chances are that I might. Mutilation out of sight. And I'm contemplating suicide. 'Cause I'm losing my sight, losing my mind. Wish somebody would tell me I'm fine. Losing my sight, losing my mind. Wish somebody would tell me I'm fine. I never realized I was spread too thin. Till it was too late, and I was empty within. Hungry, feeding on chaos and living in sin. Downward spiral. Where do I begin? It all started when I lost my mother. No love for myself and no love for another. Searching to find a love upon a higher level. Finding nothing but questions and devils. 'Cause I'm losing my sight, losing my mind. Wish somebody would tell me I'm fine. Losing my sight, losing my mind. Wish somebody would tell me I'm fine. Nothing's all right, nothing is fine. I'm running and I'm crying. I'm crying, I'm crying. I'm crying, I'm crying. I can't go on living this way. Cut my life into pieces. This is my last resort. Suffocation, no breathing. Don't give a fuck if I cut my arm bleeding. Would it be wrong? Would it be right? If I took my life tonight? Chances are that I might. Mutilation out of sight. And I'm contemplating suicide. 'Cause I'm losing my sight, losing my mind. Wish somebody would tell me I'm fine. Losing my sight, losing my mind. Wish somebody would tell me I'm fine. Nothing's all right, nothing is fine. I'm running and I'm crying. I can't go on living this way. Can't go on living this way. Nothing's all right. The three boys then struck a pose as the video then ended. Everyone then let out another round of applause with some cheering louder than the others. Oh yeah, that was awesome, Denki said jovially. You guys are really going through the genres, aren't you? Kyoka said. Well, music is part of the job. So why not enjoy some time we have till we get another gig, Len said. It is really nice not to sing all the time. It hurts the throat, Flower said as Fukase looked at her before looking to the rest of the audience. Said by the deep voice girl herself, he said as she mockingly points at her, which got some chuckles and a smack on the back of his head. In the States, Ben could be seen packing up a suitcase with an excited look on his face. Do we have to go to Japan? Ben then turned around to see a young woman standing by his room's door. She has light brown skin tone, medium-length black hair, which is tied in a single braid that rests over her left shoulder, and gray eyes. She is wearing a white shirt covered by a yellow-trimmed red hooded jacket, with the hood over her head, black shorts that stop just above her knees, a gray pleated skirt, and black sandals. The hood has pointed ears with yellow trimmings on them. School will be closed for construction since. You know, Ben said as he then closes his suitcase, while the girl just let out a sigh. You and your friends shouldn't really have gone overboard during training, she said to him. It wasn't that bad, sure, Ben said, trying to play it off. But the stern look that he gotten clearly shows that it wasn't working. A large chunk of rubble destroyed half the library. And you know how I knew where it came from? She asked as Ben tries to make himself small. My teacher told us about it, and he told everyone that it came from your class. At least no one is hurt, right? Ben said, which results to him getting grabbed by the ear. Okay, I'm sorry. Good, she said before letting out a sigh. You can be a stubborn idiot sometimes. Then I'm probably a lucky idiot having a girlfriend like you, Ben said, which made the girl blush and stutter. Cease such words, I hate it, she said, which only made Ben chuckle as she approached her, puts his right hand on top of her head and kissed her forehead, making her blush even more. Love you too, he said as the girl just whines from this. Shut up and help me pack, she said while glaring at him. Ben just let out a chuckle and said, how about when we arrive at Japan? We could buy some books there. They are pretty known for light novels. The girl just let out a whine and then said, fine, but I will choose. Deal, he said with a nod. Let's get your bag ready, I'll call Ash after. Let's just get this over it, she said as they then left the room with Ben having his suitcase with him. Everyone stopped watching for now and went to chat with each other. I really hope that I'm next, Mina said in excitement. With so many in here, I doubt it, Todoroki said rather bluntly, which made the acid user puff her cheeks in annoyance. Don't feel so down. There might be a chance that you will get picked, Kirishima said in assurance. It just all comes down to luck, Tsuyu added, which seems to calm Mina down. Say, I heard that you guys will be having a school festival in a week or so. So what have you guys chosen to do in the event? Len asked. We haven't decided yet, Denki said before pointing at Class 1B. Thou if we did, it would ruin the surprise if they hear it. So you think that we... Bonk. That is enough of you, Kendo said in annoyance, while a knocked-out Monoma leans forward. I also heard that there would be a beauty pageant in the festival, Nero said. There is, Gumi confirmed for her. I still remembered going there with my friends after a break. A lot of people really want to watch it. Which sounds really scary when I say it. How come? Kanoko asked. Since, we're teenagers, and there wouldn't just be teenagers there would also be adults. The bad kind of adults. Everyone had to process this for a moment when they realized what she meant. Aizawa, Nimuri, please increase our security for the festival. Majima, add more surveillance during the event, Nezu ordered. HM Makopi Thadiel make sure that I would. The three teachers said with serious looks on their faces. I have been thinking of this for a while, and some of us do too, Denki said before looking at Izuku and Gumi. But, what happened to your dad? Then chaos ensues. You idiot, Kyoka screamed at him as she jams her jacks at him. Dude, Siro yelled at him. What you are asking is very personal, and shouldn't be talked about, Tenya scolded him. Stop. Everyone then halted as they looked to the source of the shout, Gumi. No fighting, all right. We kinda expects this since all of you saw how we looked. But we don't want to talk about it now. So, please don't ask now. The atmosphere then grew awkward as everyone just nods in understanding, even stopping some conversations. Okay then, Pico's shout immediately snapped them out. Let's go watching more songs, but let's pick some that would give us that happy vibe. After hearing that, a lot of the audience agreed as Nezu pressed his remote, and the wheel on the screen began to spin before stopping on a name. I guess it's my turn then, Rin said before looking towards Pico. Play Sister's Mercy. One song from Teimo's coming up, he said as the cyborg looked through the box till he finally found. He then puts in the projector and pressed play. The sound of an organ and thunder could be heard as the screen was entirely red with an undistinguished silhouette while lightning strikes. Slowly, The red screen shows a small town with pale white husks. Izuku quickly covered Iri's eyes, so she couldn't see what is happening on screen. Then the screen showed of a silhouette of a young girl praying as dim light shines upon her. It then showed that she was standing in front of the now dead town before disappearing along with the sound of thunder. Then with a sudden flash, the words Sister's Mercy appeared on screen with a cathedral-like background with mosaic windows, while the sound of trumpets and drums were heard. Followed by the title were the credits to the creators of the song. Then it quickly then switches to an old farmer, working on a dried-up field as Rin's voice was then heard singing. Aru hai, no koto masashii sono miranai. Then farmer saw someone in the distance. Chado fushigi, na shisuta ga yat kita. Then he saw Rin in a white nun outfit, as she presents herself with a smile on her face, as she then showed the farmer a poster, and explained what it was all about. Achazuki, no kami o agame tatsunasai. Donna nigai mo kanao desu. The farmer looked unconvinced, but Rin gave him the poster. Aim busokudi akamari, nufusen? Then at night, the farmer stood in front of the place, the poster advertised. Megumi o madami koyoi, achakai. And inside, Rin stood there with a smile on her face, as if she was waiting for him, as she then presents herself to him with a cup of tea. Jesus. Inor. Believer Tsukui o Nedru Nara. Oh yeah, amai bright na redo mitsu, sa. The farmer just watches in shock as something otherworldly is happening. The cup was then presented to him as he hesitantly took a sip. Cheers. Sasoj. Amazing. Aziaka na red de onaka ga midasaratara. Later, the farmer could be seen on his fields as he looked in amazement as rain began to pour down on his field, and his crops began to sprout before growing into full-grown crops. The rest of the villagers saw this as they look upon it in awe, while there's those who have greedy intentions. Mu negai wa kanakao. Negai ga kanao, mayonaka no tea party. Murabito takai wa sukari kaiushincha. Many of the villagers then went to the nun's tea house, everyone having their own selfish wish from riches to their own lustful desires, while Rin just laughs before presenting them more cups of teas. Raku shite maukatai deka, eitsu o shitai, deka. Nanto yoku bukaki, hito no saga. From another building, a miser just watches everything from his own home, with greed also in his eyes. Kinku ga horitai shusendo sonchusen. Kaisuki o madami koyoi, achakai. As more and more of villagers, Rin gave them more and more of her wish-granting tea. Jesus. Inor. Believer Tsukui o Nedru Nara. Oh yeah, Moto bright na redo mitsu, sa. The miser then drank his cup of tea, and before he knows it, he suddenly found a gold reserve underground, which only fuels his greed. Cheers. Sasoj. Amazing. Aziaka na red de onaka ga midasaratara. Mu nigai wa kanakao. The villagers were now looking at Rin in reverence, as she continues to influence them with her tea. Tanashii monogatari, mo itsuka wa owaru mono desu. Aratana meoigo o tsukui nai ikamashu. As Rin gave more of her tea, the villagers drank it with gusto, never leaving a single drop, nor its residual taste that was still on the cups. Ashimerit tsutsu tabadatsu shisuta-san. Rin was then about to leave when the villagers tried to stop her. But they were not humans anymore. Rather, they are just the husks of their former selves, as their own greed destroyed them from the inside out. Seigo no achakai, naimina ga nedru no desu. Etaniti. So, Rin gave them more tea as they come out of her hands, and from her teapots, while the villagers walks towards her as she guides them further in her tea house. Jesus. Inor. Believer Ian o Kunara. Oh yeah, Kozat. Paradise omezes, sa. Departure. Isoj. The villagers continues to drink more and more as their own bodies slowly deteriorates, while Rin just continues to lead them further down her tea house. Arrival. Aziaka na red mo, ishiki mo, tabanashitara. Sa, mokurikichi wa sugu soko desu. Jesus. Inor. Believer Tsukui o Nedru Nara. Oh yeah, Moto bright na redo. Buchai makero, sa. Now as empty husks, Rin gestures the villagers to a plank that goes over a large pot, as they mindlessly followed her command. Cheers. Sasoj. Delicious. Aziaka na red de onaka ga midasaratara. Then one by one, the villagers falls into the pot, where Rin has her tea made as she just smiles at them. Mu sorosoro koroi ni. Blood tea party wa oharaki. Then tea house began to break down, a flood of Rin's tea coming out of windows and doors, breaking the entire building down, and then flooding the rest of the village. Amen. Now standing in now ruined village, Len's voice could then be heard. Aru hai, no koto sabarta hasindi. Otoko wa hitori shizuka nai namada shida. Len then shows himself as he looks down to see the husk of the farmer, who was killed by his own greed, with wonder. Kuchihate kairabata mikuro, no dare moga. Shiawaste nai tabada tta no daru. He then walks away, leaving the ruined village as it is. The song then ended as everyone in the audience gave a round of applause. That was grand, Momo said with joviality. Your acting is even great, Shinso commented, which made Rin blush a bit. Thanks, she said while scratching the back of her head. Thou the people we hired to perform in the video should also get some credits. True, Shoji said as he nodded. All right, Present Mike said before clapping his hands. Who's next? Allow me, Nezu said before pressing the remote. The mighty wheel appears before them yet again as it spins round and round till it finally stops on a name. Oh, Freeshooter could only look on in excitement as she grabs Bolero by the shoulders and shakes her around. Bo-chan, it's your turn. I can see it, Bolero said each time she was being tossed around. I think Bo-chan has enough now, Maple said with an awkward smile. So Freeshooter stopped shaking Bolero as the more reserved girl then looked towards Pico. Alexandra Stan. Mr. Saxabat. Looks like we have our first Eurodance, Pico commented as he then rummaged through the box and finally got the CD before putting it in the player and pressed play. Then on screen, it showed someone's camera recording of Izuku and his friends in a private pool, along with their families and other friends. Bikinis, Minta screamed in joy, but was quickly incapacitated by Gyro. Hey, isn't this the one where we go to the Philippines for the summer? Len questioned as the other guests looked closely to the screen. It is, Freeshooter said as she cheerfully points at the screen. There's me on the diving board. This was 2 years ago, before Izuku went to UA. We even invited All Might, before we even knew his secret identity, Gumi said. I thank you again for inviting me for it, All Might said to them, which results to some chuckles. When I saw your true form on TV, I was shocked, Ash said. You said it. Who knew that the skinny person that always come to every event we are in was the no one hero? Fukase said, while All Might sheepishly rubbed the back of his head. All right, everyone, look back on the screen, Nezu said, which prompts everyone to look back to the screen. Then standing by a karaoke machine were two people, as they were setting up the song. One of them is a young woman of average height, with long pink hair in a ponytail, and big pink eyes. For the occasion, she wears a pink two-piece swimsuit. The other is a young man of average height with heterochromatic eyes, the left being green and the right being red with cross-slit pupil, and medium-length brown hair with a cowlick that falls with its weight. The most eye-catching part was that most of his right side was reptilian in nature, yet also armor-like. For the occasion, he wears a pair of gray swimming trunks that is lined with red. Oh, it's Uncle Tatsumi and Aunt Mine, Freeshooter said in recognition. Aren't they also part of Night Raid? Momo asked. Yep, the two of them were subordinates of my mom. Uncle Tatsumi was even the one who did the finishing blow, she said to her. They are also Haim and Makoto's parents, Flower said, which made some of the audience look towards her. Really now? Zero asked in curiosity. Yep, they also moved in the more rural parts of Japan after everything. But they would come by to Germany for a yearly reunion for the surviving members of Night Raid, Freeshooter said with a smile on her face. It's starting, Bolero said as everyone then had their eyes back on screen. Mine then took two of the mics on the machine and passed one to Tatsumi. The two shared a smile when the song finally starts, as the sounds of trumpets were heard. While it plays, everyone in and out of the pool are doing various activities, chatting, cooking, swimming, playing, and diving. Then Mine began to sing. You make me dance, bring me up, bring me down, play it sweet. Make me move like a freak, Mr. Saxabat. Fukase and Izuku could be seen racing each other in the pool, while some of their friends cheer for them. Makes me dance, brings me up, brings me down, plays it sweet. Makes me move like a freak, Mr. Saxo. You make me dance, bring me up, bring me down, play it sweet. Make me move like a freak, Mr. Saxabat. Ash, Georgia, Rin, and Len were playing chicken fight in the pool, as Georgia and Rin tries to push each other, while Ash and Len hold them up. Makes me dance, brings me up, brings me down, plays it sweet. Makes me move like a freak, Mr. Saxabat. Then it was Tatsumi's turn to sing, while everyone else continues to have fun. Then it shows Bolero relaxing on the side of the pool on a chair, while listening to her cassette player. Oh, yeah, yeah. Then Freeshooter jumping off the diving board, doing a flip before piercing the water's surface. Oh, yeah. Pico and Mickey could be seen cooking up some food on the grill, when a pair of two girls ran up and stole 4 sticks of barbecue, which made them gave chase to scold the two. Oh, yeah. Gumi and Mikyu were in the pool in 2-person pool float, when Kaido cannonballs near them. which flips the float over and made the two girls go to the water and became drenched. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Then it shows Fluttermouse trying to sneak a machine into the pool when John grabbed her and pulled her away while she whines about not testing her machine when a girl with white hair helped John getting Fluttermouse away from the pool. Mr. Saxabat, Mr. Saxabat. Mako then pulled Kaido out of the pool in frustration, as he apologized multiple times towards her, while both Gumi and Mikyu were now in the water, and they look at the scene humorously. Hey, sexy boy, set me free. Don't be so shy, play with me. My dirty boy, can't you see that you belong next to me? Hey, sexy boy, set me free. Don't be so shy, play with me. My dirty boy, can't you see? You are the one I need. You make me dance, bring me up, bring me down, play it sweet. Make me move like a freak, Mr. Saxabat. Makes me dance, brings me up, brings me down, plays it sweet. Makes me move like a freak. Neifumi was then shown trying to hold down a little blonde girl with bird wings alongside a woman with long teal hair. Oh, yeah, 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 uh-huh. Then it shows Nero trying to sing when a pair of women, a fox girl and a dragon girl, shuts her mouth before she could even do so. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Then it shows Ben trying to get his girlfriend away from a tree along with an eccentric blonde girl as she tries to stay away from everyone. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Sitting by the grill was All Might, drinking a can of beer alongside a white-haired man with only one arm. Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Hansuke could then be seen jamming around with his own cassette player as he sat near Bolero. You make me dance, bring me up, bring me down, play it sweet. Make me move like a freak, Mr. Saxabat. Makes me dance, brings me up, brings me down, plays it sweet. Makes me move like a freak. You make me this, bring me up, bring me down, Mr. Saxabat. You make me this, bring me up, bring me down, Mr. Saxabat. Then Mind strikes a pose as Tatsumi gave her a round of applause before the song then ended. The viewers then gave their own round of applause. All right, who's next? Denki asked. Well, let's see. Nezu then used his remote, and the wheel began to spin till it finally stopped on a name. Oh, it's Shiozaki, Satsuna said with a grin on her face. I shall pick a good one, Shiozaki said in an assuring tone before looking towards Pico. Any Christian songs? The worship type or rock? He asked as Shiozaki looked at him, perplexed. Worship, of course, she said to him. Well, anything that you want? Shiozaki thought about till she finally has one. What a beautiful name by Hillsong Worship. Pico then looked through till he finally found it. He puts it in the projector and played it. Then the screen showed a young woman in her 40s in a church, standing in front of a small crowd. She has long, auburn hair tied into a ponytail with a red ribbon, pale skin, and bright eyes that are described to be like soft, wet soil in color. She wears a simple red dress and black shoes. Oh, it's Miss Celica, Nero said. Who is she? Shoto asked. She's John's mom. She's also a very famous hero around Europe, especially with her husband, Bolero said. Ah, I remember how I team up with them in my younger years, All Might said before everyone looked back to the screen. Celica then checked the mic before clearing her throat and began to sing. You were the Word at the beginning. One with God, the Lord Most High. Your hidden glory in creation. Now revealed in you are Christ. What a beautiful name it is. What a beautiful name it is. The name of Jesus Christ my King. What a beautiful name it is. Nothing compares to this. What a beautiful name it is. The name of Jesus. You didn't want heaven without us. So Jesus, you brought heaven down. At this point, the audience were now swaying with the melody, with some even closing their eyes to enjoy its sweet tone. My sin was great. Your love was greater. What could separate us now? What a wonderful name it is. What a wonderful name it is. The name of Jesus Christ my King. What a wonderful name it is. Nothing compares to this. What a wonderful name it is. The name of Jesus. Death could not hold you. The veil tore before you. You silenced the boast of sin and grave. The heavens are roaring, the praise of your glory. For you are raised to life again. You have no rival. You have no equal. Now and forever, our God reigns. Yours is the kingdom. Yours is the glory. Yours is the name above all names. What a powerful name it is. What a powerful name it is. The name of Jesus Christ my King. What a powerful name it is. Nothing can stand against. What a powerful name it is. The name of Jesus. What a powerful name it is. The name of Jesus Christ my King. What a powerful name it is. The name of Jesus. The song then ended as Celica gave everyone a bow. Everyone then gave a round of applause for the great performance. All right, 3 more. And after that, we'll take a break, Nezu said to everyone. It does quite get boring only listening to songs. So let's do what we want after this. Everyone nodded in agreement as they await for the next songs. Ome. The end of a score, a beginning of another. In Berlin, Germany, a group of people could be seen outside a building that has its doors blocked with police tape. They were Izuku, his friends, and the people who once went to the building. I still can't believe Symphonica closed, John said with a frown on his face. It can't be helped. Funding has been strict lately. I guess it couldn't keep it up, Bolero said, which saddened everyone with the music art's explanation. Does this mean we'll never see each other again? A little blonde girl said, while tears ran down her cheeks. This is Tana Ebner aka music art Twinkle Star. Of course not, a brown-haired teenage boy said in an assuring tone as he kneeled before her. He is Issei Hayudu. Even if the school is gone, we'll always see each other. Promise? Twink Star asked him. Of course, he would, a teenage girl with white hair said. This is Karalib aka music art canon. You can even visit all of us, and we could play. And since some of us would be living with our relatives or significant others, you can see us there, Freeshooter said with a smile on her face. I know that I would be staying with Mom in a few months, till I go to Japan and stay with Izuku alongside Bolero. Thou, you better remember to actually go there and not sleep late, a white-haired teenage boy said to Freeshooter with a cheeky grin. He is a Stahljaeger, Freeshooter's adopted older brother. Freeshooter just blushed and stammered a bit, while everyone laughs at this. Naofumi then looked to a black-haired young man standing next to him. His name is Takt Asahina, Naofumi's cousin. So, how about one more song before we go our separate ways? It wouldn't be too hard, right, Takt? Naofumi asked, which made Takt look at him. Is that a challenge I hear? He questioned him. Oh, I don't doubt your skills. I think the one that should be the son of my uncle who first found this place, Naofumi said, which made his cousin smile. Then I'll make one that would not be forgotten by the world, Takt said before looking towards everyone. All of you still have your instruments right? Everyone looked at each other as smiles appeared on their faces, and they brought out various orchestral instruments from their bags and luggage. Takt then offered his hand to a young woman with white hair. She is Anna Schneider aka music art Destiny A. Do you want to take the lead? He asked her, which made her smile. Of course, she said as she took his hand and stood before everyone. Go Anna, another young one with white hair said, while holding a violin. She is Cosette Schneider aka music art Destiny C, young adopted sister of Anna. Anna then cleared her throat as everyone prepares to play. And so she began to song with everyone following her lead. Taumana yum o sato idaki yosta. Itsuka kyujuruku hoshi, no yu. Yumuro chaitwa. Kaitaku midai. Inachai no yukyu o kenjiteta. Nando mo kutakit. Kakita kokoro o atsumuro. Ch sana hikari o sagasu. Unai mata sora o might. A crowd soon formed around them as they watched in awe and curiosity at the outdoor performance. Iki o suru koto mo wasaridishimal hodo no. Kyoku nai yaitsuku kanashimi sai mo subit. Utsukushi ungaku nai nap. Imi o mirshinao tabai nai boku o mitsuketa kiruru itsudimo. The sound of string, wind, and brass instruments filled the air, while the sound from a keyboard only enchanted along with the sound of beating drums. Kirikishite mo hanashitakuni. D to wakir o yukatomteku. Kadi o madamit. Kajuru tabaji o hauku. Sekai wa doko made suzuidaku no shiratano. Jikin ga megaru yunai. Orane mono ga aru tatawitsu no haika. Kono shintai ga kuchite mo. Utsukushi ungaku nai natakita akashi wa tsugi no derkai. Hikari o furasu kamo shiranai. Some tears were shed by some of the students of Symphonica as they played while letting their sorrows out, while there are some who remained calm, but they were shown quivering in their own sorrows. Bokira wa tsunadeku murai itu. Taumana yumo. Sato daki yosta. Kyujuruku hoshidi. Nando yumur kawaruta. Utsukushi ungaku nai nap. Imi o mirshinao tabai nai boku o mitsuketa kure. Sashite sabite no kodo itashiku amoru hai ga kuru. Woo ah woo ah. Everyone just continues to play as more and more comes to hear this enchanting song till it finally ended. The crowd then gave a round of applause as everyone looked at each other with various emotions. Some were smiling at each other happily, others hugging each other tightly while crying over their shoulders, and some had looks of acceptance. Izuku then looks at his friends with a smile on his face, with Bolero and Freeshooter beside him. So this is it then, the last song as a farewell for Symphonica, Izuku said as they look at each other, and they smiled as well. It might be gone, but our memories will not, Bolero added. Come on, I'm starving. I think there's a cafe a few blocks from here, Asta said to them. Sweet, a teenage girl with black hair said. She is Jaina Armstrong aka music art Jupiter. She then ran off, leaving everyone in the dust. Last one there will pay for the orders. Jup, that's cheating. Come on, run for it. I'll get there first. Waha. Mars. Out of all times to be competitive with your sister. This is the worst time. I hope they can make custom drinks, because I want my sunset Malaga. Most of the group then ran off as both Tact and Anna watched them go with smiles on both of their faces. Thus the world shattered, Anna said before looking to Tact as she held his hand, which he responds by holding it tightly. By a joyful anthem, Tact said before they began to leave. Every single one of them, scattering in the wind, to go back home when their song finally ended. But it would be a song that would forever be remembered. All right, the next one will be. Nezu said as he pressed the remote, and the great wheel appears yet again as it goes round and round till it finally stops on a name. It's my turn then, Todoroki said as he then began to think. Nothing, Zero asked. I couldn't think of one that I want to see. I only did so before because I looked through the box, and I picked the ones that are interesting. Then, how about something that you've heard in passing? Kirishima said to the half-hot, half-cold user. Todoroki thought about it again before looking towards Pico. I don't know what the title is, but it goes like this. Todoroki then proceeds to hum a tone as some of the audience recognized it. Oh, I know what that is, Pico said as he quickly went looking through the box. What is it? Momo asked Gyro, who looked at her funny. Really? It's Mafumafu, the purple-haired girl said. And it's RPG, Denki said in excitement. That is one of my favorite songs from them. I don't have the original, but I know we did a cover for it, Izuku said, which made everyone look at him. Now I'm more excited, Sir said. No kidding, Sato said as he watches his classmate bouncing from his seat. He's not the only one, Kirishima said as he watches Mina also bouncing on her seat. All right, found it, Pico said with a CD in hand before putting it in the projector. The screen then shows Izuku, Naofumi, and two other boys with them on stage. The first one is a young man of average height with short spiky brown hair, with two short locks of hair behind his head, and light brown eyes. He also has a muscular and toned build. He wears a uniform from a different school, which consists of a black blazer over a white, long-sleeved dress shirt with black highlights with a black ribbon on the collar, matching black pants, and brown dress shoes. The second one is a young man with slightly long, spiky, cerulean hair, which sports an ahoge. He has large, round eyes with Egyptian blue irises. He also wears a uniform from a different school, which consists of an Olympic blue jacket with a white stripe lining the edges, pockets, and cuffs, two stripes, lining the cuff on his second-year uniform. Matching pants with white stripes lining the ankles, two stripes here on his second-year uniform. A red bow adorned with a red demon eye decoration, and dark blue dress shoes. He also wears a gold ring on the ring finger of his right hand. Hey, there's Issei and Iruma, Len said. So, who are these friends of yours? Takoyami asked. They live pretty far away, especially with Iruma since he was adopted by a foreigner due to being in a bad situation before he was adopted, Fukase said with a bit of hesitation at the end. We'll not talk about it, Flower said with finality. All right then, Denki said as the video then continues to play. Izuku was on the drums with both Naofumi and Issei were guitars, and Iruma was on the keyboard. They played a soft beat as they then turned it up into 11, and they began to sing. RP. RP. Ga. R. RP. 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 Ga. RP. Izuku Itsuka, no Yuushinai. Akagirit. Miri dat wakat no tabakumo. Batsu Sudari. Naofumi yosit atsameta. Yonin gumi. Hora nandimo kendimo. Nani nai mo kin nai mo. Buzu ga baiabu nai juzu nai buzudi. Nanakara nanimate hitamakas. All chiai tilde. Issei yakuso atsumiya. Torikabuto. Joso zenkai, no aunguru kyuso mo hinai. Uruma eitsu mo koitsu mo. Yakudata zu. Dare no seita care no seidat. Nasaritsuka te hikikuru. Izuku wanton to die jaikuten. Deku hisatsu, no muwaza nai. Issei danjan oku de meatara. Tta dashutsu adamuwa. Nai. Naofumi koryaku honara taunimikashi. Nai gomi nai dashi chatai. Uruma kanzen soon deru futari. Mo shindaru sibu no datamo. Naofumi. Kaiose sukiro refu. Agi nai zen fury kaifuku yaku wa. Inai heijin no yon tori. Issei zura tto narabu nasu tomato. Rakuna kyara ga irabnai. Naofumi, baguda yoni. All yapari yada. Boku ga sentadai. Seisho no machai kara suzuminai. Ikai kakaru yon gozer. Mimin mo ikai nen ga sujita. Izuku, ikajin naishiro. All gacha nai tadoria. Hoshi futatsu kure. SSR Janakarita. Sordimo Bokura de Itaienda. Kimi to Yofukashite RPG. RP. RP. Ga. R. RRRP. RP. RP. Ga. RP. Dialogue part. Uruma. Roman 2 and Desuka Minasan. Teamwork Desuyo. Izuku and Issei. Ryokai. Neifumi oi oi ashi hippot. No dare deo. Izuku. Dondan saki nai. Ikao soru san desu. Neifumi. Or wa mina ga yada yasui. Unai michai kiri hayaru dake. Izuku. Sor wa sachai no ibun desu. Kochi wa mewaku shaitenda yo. Na issei. Issei. E na ma. Uruma nai korosuru. Uruma. Ahahahaha zain shine. Neifumi. Ah or maid. Uruma ami dake yurizanai. Issei. Derka tasaki kudasai. Uruma laughing. Izuku. Mu teamwork doko ita omura. Uruma botobai go roku tera. Tsunani nobukuapu. Hosher kanoko jushi sa mamantai. Izuku shinya nai jai kara roku jiken. Korya toban oeri su mo nai na. Uruma. Nemui. Yo. Aliapuri yada yada shosha, no makata. Hirami shugi ga tamaranai. Tenohira kisu kodo dake wa. Inachai o kakatekazaru. Issei, narames nuzo. All seigo no seigo do. Sibu shiwager. Mono no aware iwazumagana. No betsu maku nashi. Tenbatsu de furadashi nai modera RPG. All aku o kikarasu yuusha, no kenwa. Nai 6x. All ano ko o mamoru mahu no take wa. Nai 6x. All uzora o kakaru soratabu funwa. Nai 6x. All sekai o suku tabai nai deru kaiwa. Nai 6x. Dialogue part. Issei. Yami nai samar. Kujil Schreiber. Kujareshireba. Neifumi. Nakiegru. Schwarzwald brought Shuwurutsuwar Tabaroto. Arma. Ipai Hies Ryizaken. Izuku. Korga or no Sedai. Ugi. Infinity Impact. Neifumi, huh? Issei, huh? Irma, huh? Izuku. Omara. Uruma Seikino hate no. Sono Muku de Mishimo Mau o Taushitara. Indoru ga Nagaratara. Bokira no Asu Watakoni. Aliapuri yada yada boku ga sentode. Seisho no Majai Kara Suzumine. Ikai Kakaru yon Gazer Mimin Mu. Haikunan ga Sujite Ua a. Sor demo Roman 2 ka, na Waraku wa nai na. Tekutsu Shinogi nai wa Narumana. Isshu tabai shite itakara. Kimi to Yafukashite RPG. RP. RP. Ga. R. RRRP. RP. RP. Ga. RP. The song then ended with the four boys striking poses. The audience gave a round of applause with some laughing hysterically. Man, that part was always good. Who knew Midoriya can get that mad? Zero said. None of us really did, Tsuyu added. Oh, my brother does have a bit of a mean streak. Especially whenever he is playing video games, Gumi explained. He is really competitive. Make him lose enough. He'll blow up like a bomb, Fuke said as he snickers a bit. No, I'm not, Izuku said with a frown on his face. Yes, you do. Everyone who knew him the longest said to him bluntly. Give it up, nerd. I even know how competitive you are, Katsuki said before thinking about it more as he mutters. Now that I think about it, those were the only times he talked back at me. All right, who's next? Bolero asked. Allow me, Miss Bandolier, Nezu said as he brought out his remote and made the wheel spin again till it finally landed on a name. Oh, it's me, Gumi said with a smile on her face. Finally, I have some songs in mind. Well, what do you suggest? Kanoko asked. Gumi then faced Pico as she gave out her request. Koma Bayan Su, she said to him. We're going for Filipino now, aren't we? Pico said as he began to look through the box. I really haven't listened or watched anything that comes from the Philippines, Mina said. Well, all of you are going to love it, Zero said to them with a grin on his face. One of the beautiful places in the world, where many cultures collab in one place. That also shares a lot of the world's problems, Bolero added rather bluntly, which ruined the mood. Really? Flower asked with a deadpan look as Bolero just shrugged. Okay, found it, Pico quickly said with a CD in hand, as he then inserted it in the projector and pressed play. The screen then showed Gumi in a flowy white, while standing inside a hospital room setting. Drums were then heard, followed by a guitar as Gumi began to sing. Sa bawat aro na lumalabas. Ang mga litratong kumubas. Sa aking isapanay. Bumabalat sa puso kong ito. Dehen nang umalit. Ang bawat sakit at mapapait. Na mga alalang. Ikay aking nasaktan. Gumaguho na ang mundo ko. Naglalakad sa sarili kong abo. Angayan nandito ako sumasiga, nalalaga. Sa mundong naiba, sa mundong nadatina. Angayan nandito ako umiiyak, nagahinte sa. Ayong gidi dito saking panaginip. Sa bawat yugto na aking lika. Imga malangkot na tadhana. Penipilit gumizing. Umosang mamulat ang mata. Dahan kong ginagawit. Ang bawat tamis at malalaming. Na mga aloling. Ikay sakin nagahinte. Gumuguho na ang puso ko. Namulat na ang mga mating ito. Angayan nandito ako dahang nadatana. Ang mundong aking gawa mula sa aking luha. Angayan nandito ako tumatakbo. Inobadang. Ayong kame at ang iyong pusong makili. Following that was a guitar and drum solo that made the audience bob their heads with the beat. Sa pajikat ng mundong ito. Ang nais ko ikay aking mapasaya. Ang tanego kong mga luha. Sa iyo ay aking iniwan na sa mundo ko. Angayan nandito ako na umayakap sa iyo. Patawarin mo ako. Nasaktan ko puso mo. Angayan nandito ako. Hindi nang bibitawan pa ang. Ayang kame dito sa ating kwento ng buhay. Kwento ng buhay. The melody keeps going till it finally ends and Gumi gave a bow. The audience then gave out a round of applause. That was magnifique, Ayama shouted in amazement. Good thing there's subtitles, Denki said. We knew that people wouldn't understand the language, even if it's English, so we add them just in case, Gumi said. And boy did we need some help, Len added. When did you even learn it? Siro asked in curiosity. Well, it was Lily that actually taught me, she said, which surprised most of the audience. Lily? As in the people knows as Bumblebee? Suyu asked, which made their guests laugh at the question. Lily hates being called that, Oliver said as he chuckles a bit. She especially hates being called railway sign, Fukase added, which made the guests laugh again, with some of the audience joining along. Anyways, Lily taught me Filipino since she did sang once for Insu. But I continued to learn as I continued to sang for Insu. Then I had to taught Miku for one of Insu's songs. And I had to taught Len when he began to sing for Dasu, Gumi said. And boy, was the language a tongue twister, Len added with a grimace. English was bad enough. But learning Filipino was harder, since it was the second foreign language that I had to learn. He then points to Miku and said, Miku is only one who can speak a lot of language. And it was hell, Miku said as comical tears came out of her eyes. English, Japanese, Mandarin, Filipino, and even Finnish when I sang even polka. I only managed to keep my mind on track because of my quirk. Sheesh, Gyro said in shock along with everyone else. Okay then, so who's next? Present Mike asked. Allow me, Nezu said as he brought out the remote and made the wheel spin yet again. It goes for a while when it finally stopped on a name. All right, my turn. Freeshooter joyfully as she turned around to face Pico with her knees on her seat. One Step at a Time by Jordan Sparks. When Izuku heard this, he began to blush in embarrassment. Oh hell yeah, I know this one, Ash said as he let out a snicker. What is it about? Toru asked. It's something the girls and I made when we started our relationship with Izuku, Freeshooter said. It was pretty messy, Bolero added. You should have seen how a nervous wreck he was before we finally snapped him out of it, Nero quipped with a smirk on his face. Can you guys please stop mentioning it? Izuku asked as his friends looked at him. No, all of them said consecutively with grins on their faces, as Izuku just groans on his hand. Pico just chuckles as he then pulled out a CD and said, All right, I got it. He then put it in the projector and pressed play. Then on screen, it showed both Izuku and Freeshooter walking together in the streets of Berlin, while being recorded from a distance. Izuku looked very nervous, which Freeshooter noticed. You should really relax, Freeshooter said to him. The two of us are just going for a date. Well, Izuku looked down nervously as Freeshooter just looked towards the one recording, and gave them a nod. Freeshooter began to harmonize a tune as Izuku looked at her confused. Hurry up and wait. So close, but so far away. Freeshooter then walked ahead of Izuku as she began to walk backwards, while giving him an assuring smile. Everything that you've always dreamed of. Close enough for you to taste, but you just can't touch. You want to show the world, but no one knows your name yet. Wonder when and where and how you're gonna make it. You know you can if you get the chance. In your face, and the door keeps slamming. Now you're feeling more and more frustrated. And you're getting all kind of impatient. Waitin'. Freeshooter then jumped towards a lamppost as she began to spin around it, while Izuku just looked on in shock. We live and we learn to take one step at a time. There's no need to rush. It's like learning to fly. Freeshooter then stood in front of Izuku as she gave him a bright smile, which made him blush a bit. Or falling in love, just falling in love. It's gonna happen when it's supposed to happen. Then we find the reasons why. One step at a time. She then took his hand and began to drag him, which made the camera holder having to chase them. Free Shooter then continues to harmonize when the two of them were now in a nearby park, as she then looked back to Izuku. You believe and you doubt. You're confused. And got it all figured out. Everything that you always wished for. Could be yours, should be yours, would be yours. If they only knew. You want to show the world. But no one knows your name, yet knows your name yet. Wonder when and where and how you're gonna make it. You know you can if you get the chance. In your face. And the door keeps slamming. Now you're feeling more and more frustrated. And you're getting all kind of impatient now. Oh, waitin'. We live, and we learn to take. She then dragged Izuku towards the side of a lake, as she playfully messed with him, and Izuku began to loosen up a bit. One step at a time. There's no need to rush. It's like learning to fly. Or falling in love, just falling in love. It's gonna happen when it's supposed to happen. Then we find the reasons why. One step at a time. When you can't wait any longer, you can't wait. But there's no end in sight. When you need to find the strength. It's your faith that makes you stronger. The only way we get there is one step at a time. The two then began to laugh when Free Shooter jumped on him, and they stumbled into the lake, making them drenched with cold water, but the two of them just laugh. Then the two of them were now sitting on a bench, still a bit drenched, as they have some towels with them to dry themselves. But Izuku feels more calmer than before. Take one step at a time. There's no need to rush. It's like learning to fly. Or falling in love. It's gonna happen when it's supposed to happen. Then we find the reasons why. One step at a time. There's no need to rush. It's like learning to fly. Or falling in love. It's gonna happen when it's supposed to happen. Then we find the reasons why. One step at a time. Free Shooter then finished singing, as she then looked at Izuku. Feel calmer now? She asked him. Yeah, I am, he said. But he also has another question. Why did you sing thou, and the dancing? Well. Free Shooter just playfully points to the direction of the camera, as Izuku looks towards the camera, and began to blush from what he saw. Gee, girls? He said in shock as Free Shooter just giggles with other people giggling as well. The video then ended as the audience gave a round of applause, while some were laughing due to the end of the video. Oh, that was golden, Denki said as he began to calm down along with those who laughed. Izuku just groans in his hands, as some of his girls gave him assuring pats on the back. One more song, and we'll take a break, Aizawa said to everyone as most of them nodded. All right, here we go, Nezu said as he pressed his remote, and the wheel spins yet again, till it landed on a name. Oh yeah, Present Mike shouted in joy, as he then faced Pico. Enter Sandman by Metallica. Oh, this would be good, Pico said as he looked through the box, found the song, puts in the projector, and played it. On screen, Ben could be seen with a mic and guitar in hand, alongside John, who has an acoustic, and two other guys on a small stage with keyboard and drums respectively. The keyboard player is a young teenager with white hair and red eyes, often compared to a rabbit based on his appearance. He wears a black shirt with a white symbol of a bell on fire on his back, a pair of black pants, and brown boots. The drummer is a man with a lean build and two different colored hair, a light gray hair at the top, black hair at the sides. Additionally, he also sports a black mohawk. One of his facial signatures is a straight line mark surrounded by 3 pairs of dots on his left forehead. He wears a white shirt covered by a navy leather jacket and navy trousers. In addition, his jacket covers half of his torso. He wears black fingerless gloves, a pair of blue shades, a pair of black boots, a chain hanging from the left side of his waist connected to his trousers. Hey, there's Belle and Magna, Len pointed out. Belle is a friend of ours from Greece, while Magna is from America as well, Bolero explained to everyone before returning their eyes towards the screen. The 3 of them then began to play as the 4 boys began to play their instruments, the melody growing fiercer as they banged their heads to the beat alongside the audience. And finally, Ben began to sing. Say your prayers, little one. Don't forget, my son. To include everyone. I tuck you in, warm within. Keep you free from sin. Till the Sandman, he comes. Sleep with one eye open. Gripping your pillow tight. Exit light. Enter night. Take my hand. We're off to Never Never Land. Yeah, both Present Mike and Kyoka yelled out in excitement. Yeah. Something's wrong. Shut the light. Heavy thoughts tonight. And they aren't of Snow White. Dreams of war, dreams of liars. Dreams of dragon's fire. And of things that will bite, yeah. Sleep with one eye open. Gripping your pillow tight. Exit light. Come on. Enter night. Take my hand. We're off to Never Never Land. Ben then began to do a guitar solo, as he and everyone else banged their heads to the beat, when Magna and John joins in. Oh yeah. Put your hands together. Now I lay me down to sleep, now I lay me down to sleep. Pray the Lord my soul to keep, pray the Lord my soul to keep. If I die before I wake, if I die before I wake. Pray the Lord my soul to take. Hush little baby, don't say a word. And never mind that noise you heard. It's just the beasts under your bed. In your closet, in your head. Exit light. Come on. Enter night. Grain of sand. Exit light. Enter night. Take my hand. Off to Never Never Land. The four continued to play, as the sum of the audience were waiting in anticipation. Yeah. We're off to Never Never Land. Take my hand. We're off to Never Never Land. Take my hand. We're off to Never Never Land. Thank you very much, friends. That felt good, man. Thanks for coming on down here, man. Making us feel good. The four of them then strike a pose as the song then ended. The audience then gave a round of applause when Aizawa stood up. All right, that's enough. We will be taking a break, and no excuses, he said to everyone, with the last part mainly focusing towards the students. Some groaned at this, but they eventually accepted it as one by one. Everyone left the theater to have a break. Now outside, Izuku and his friends were walking together, when Fukase had something to ask. So, he said while looking at Gumi, Miku, Mickey, Freeshooter, Bolero, Nero, and Maple. What do you guys want to do before we go back? The seven of them look at each with looks of excitement. Izuku and his friends decided to take the 7 new guests for a tour, just like they did with the first group of guests. This time, leading the group are Izuku, Tenya, Momo, Ochako, Pico, Flower, Fukase, Oliver, Georgia, and Hansuk. Their first stop is Class 1A's classroom. Huh? I was expecting something grand, Nero commented. We did too, Georgia said before leaning on a wall. Nothing is really extravagant about it. It's more normal than those we have back home, Freeshooter commented, and Bolero nodded in agreement. What does it look like? Ochako asked. Well, our board is digital and our seats are more artsy looking, the white-haired gunner said as she continues to look around. While ours felt like we are in the future. But here, it felt like we are back in reality, away from the insanity. The studios are also like that. Inside it's like a dream. And outside is the rest of the world, Pico said. All right, can you lead us to our next destination? Nero asked the students. Just follow us, Tenya said as everyone then left the classroom to go to their next destination. The tour group were now in Gym Gamma, and most of them were surprised to see Cementos there, as if he was waiting for them. Sensei, what are you doing here? Momo asked as their teacher simply points to Fukase. Your friend there wanted to be here. He wants to test his quirk here, he explained to them. Really? Pico questioned the redhead with a deadpan look. Hey, some of you guys already had yours. We want our own now, Fukase defended himself. Yeah, Georgia shouted in agreement. Some of the group just let out a sigh as Flower just said, just go. Dibs, Georgia quickly said as she ran up to the center, which annoyed Fukase. That cheeky brat, he mutters as he purrs his hands on his hips. Georgia then stood in the center with Cementos, standing a few feet across from her. So, how do you want to proceed? He asked her. Put walls around me, Georgia said as the teacher nodded before doing what she requested, and put up walls around her. Georgia then let out some breaths as she then began to focus. The temperature seems to drop dramatically, that everyone could feel the change from the distance they are from her. Frozen world. Then suddenly, everyone felt cold in an instant. Pillars of ice came out from the inner premises of the wall that reaches to the roof. There even frost that almost reached everyone's feet. In the walls, Georgia could be seen grinning in the middle, her breath visible due to the cold, and her skin turned an icy blue. Asterisk Georgia Omori quirk. Refrigerate asterisk. Asterisk, she can change the temperature around slowly or spontaneously, creating an area that would deter most opponents. But she only use it a few times, or she will begin to develop hypothermia asterisk. Georgia then climbed out of the mess she made, her skin still an icy blue and her breath still visible for everyone to see, and walked over to the group. Who's next? Georgia asked as her skin tone slowly returns to its normal color. Me, Fukase quickly said as he looked at Georgia with an annoyed look. I was supposed to be first till you took it from me. Georgia just sticks out her tongue at him as Fukase just scoffs and went forward. Any preference? Cementos asked the redhead who looked at the ice Georgia made. Just make me some that goes to the ice. My quirk is a little uncontrollable, so give me 2 walls that goes to it, Fukase said as Cementos nodded at the request, and did what he asked as 2 walls goes parallel between Fucase and the ice Georgia made. Fucase then let out a sigh as he stretches for a bit before gaining a serious look. He then removes his gloves, and he stretches out his right arm with his right hand in finger gun pose, while his left arm was relaxed. Fucase then closes his left eye as he uses his thumb as a crosshair. His aim clearly on the giant pillars of ice that was in the middle of the room. Then he jerks the left side of his body, which made his right arm a little before putting all of his energy to swing his arm forward and snaps his fingers. Then there was fire. An immolating fire that burns everything in its path. Boom! The pillar of ice was then blown apart alongside the walls that surrounds it. Even the walls that Fucase requested were blown to bits. Trails of soot stained the floor and small embers were still alive, but eventually died off. Most of the group were shocked at the display that Fucase still has a small fire on his right pointer figure. But he blew it away. Kodru Fucase quirk. Scorching flicker asterisk. Fucase is a living matchstick. Any generation of friction would ignite the flammable liquid that he produces from his skin and create fast-moving fire. The downside is that he isn't immune to his own fire, and he would get burnt asterisk. Fucase let out a whistle as he sees his handiwork and said, "A little uncontrolled, but I can fix that." Tenya, Momo, and Ochako then looks towards Izuku. "Can he always do that?" Momo asked him. "He was really never allowed to use his quirk unless he is in an isolated location, or he was forced to use it. And we wish the latter never happens," Pico said as Fucase walks over to them. "So, who's next?" the redhead asked when Mickey walked by him. "Well, that answers that." Mickey began to stretch her body, her metallic joints letting out clicking sounds before standing in the middle of the gym. "Any preference?" Cementos asked as Mickey shook her head. "No thanks," Mickey said as the teacher nodded, and she let out a deep breath. Click! Just like Pico, Mickey's body began to shift, parts of her outer shell moving and changing to their designated shapes. Thrusters appeared within her feet along with her palms. Wings then formed behind her back, which was much elegant looking than her brother's. And lastly, a visor formed on her face. Udetain Mickey quirk. Power core asterisk. Just like her brother. Mickey's quirk was completely useless till she became a cyborg. It now lets her use her new augmentation to its truest potential. But instead of heating up, Mickey would experience spasms if she overuse it. "Let's go." Mickey let out a cheer before taking into the air. "Give me some obstacles." Cementos nodded as Mickey began to dive down, and the hero quickly used his quirk to make an obstacle course for her. Mickey then went through the obstacle course with a smile on her face as she traversed through it, while it suddenly changes to give it more difficulty. "This feels ama." Then a sharp turn appeared before her, and she couldn't react fast enough due to enjoying the feeling of using her quirk, and crashed against the cement wall, breaking it, and having it fall over her in the process. Some were shocked by this, as they look at the rubble where Mickey is buried in. Then, bang! "I'm alive." Mickey cheered as she removed the rubble over her and stood up with her hands in the air. Everyone were relieved to see that she was okay. "All right, who's next?" Hansuk asked before Gumi walked forward. "My turn," Gumi said as she walks by Mickey, as they gave each other a high five while they walked past each other. "Any requests?" Cementos asked as Gumi shook her head. "No need for any," she said as Cementos nods, then she began to focus. She let out a deep breath as she began to vibrate in place. The others then watched as she seems to look like that she was widening, and before they knew it, a burst of air forced them to close their eyes as the gale and dust went towards them. Then as the dust settled, everyone, and those who didn't know Gumi, were shocked to what they saw. Standing in the middle of the room was Gumi, but she wasn't alone. There were copies of herself, not one, not two, but 9 copies. Each single one of them having different attires and hairstyles that they familiarize with. "What the?" Ochako could only say in shock. "Everyone, meet my quirk," Gumi said with a smile on her face. Midoriya Gumi Megumi quirk. Multi-persona asterisk. Gumi's quirk lets her gain multiple personalities that gain sentience, and would switch with Gumi whenever she permitted, or she is unconscious. And she can also manifest her personalities into copies of herself, so her personalities can take over of them. But a major drawback is in her mental capacity, so she can't let out her personalities for so long, or she might suffer memory loss. Gumi then claps her hands and said, "All right, introduction time." The original Gumi then points to a Gumi who is wearing her V2 outfit and has a bright smile on her face. "That's Popstar Gumi." Hi tilde PG greeted them cheerfully. Then Og points to a different Gumi who was wearing her V3 outfit and looked quite relaxed. "Hippie Gumi." "Sup," HG casually greeted them. Then Og points to another Gumi who is wearing her V4 outfit with a warm smile on her face. Motherly Gumi. Hello, MG said warmly. Then Og points to another Gumi, who was wearing her AI voice outfit with cutesy smile on her face. Cutesy Gumi. Hi, CG said in a high-pitched tone. Then Og points to another Gumi, who was wearing a school uniform with a stern look on her face. Intellectual Gumi. Thank you for remembering that, Ig said calmly. Then Og points to another Gumi, who was wearing her panda hero outfit, with a stern look on her face. Rebel Gumi. RG just gave them a nod. Then Og points to another Gumi, who was wearing her Matryoshka outfit, with a grin on her face. Nutty Gumi. Whoosh up, NG said with a grin on her face. Then Og points to another Gumi, who was wearing her laboratory outfit, while leering at the group, specifically the boys, except Izuku. Frisky Gumi. Hello boys, FG greeted them in a teasing tone, which made the boys shiver. Then Og points to another Gumi, who was wearing her Nemesis outfit from Evilius Chronicles, and had her arms crossed with an annoyed look on her face. And this is? I'm Nemesis, so let's just move the fuck on, Nemesis said in annoyance. Do you really have to be rude? MG asked with a frown on her face. No, she's right, RG said. There are a lot of people waiting to test out their own quirks, so let's move on quick. Let's go, NG cheered out. All right girls, show time, Gumi called out to her copies. Routine 25. Hi, all of Gumi's personalities said as they readied themselves. The tour group then watches as all 10 Gumis ran in sync with both RG and NG doing front flips ahead of the others before landing beside each other. Then FG and HG were doing cartwheels as RG and NG kneeled down, and the latter two went over them. CG and MG then jumped on RG's and NG's backs, as the both of them stood there with RG and NG with their backs horizontally from one another. FG and HG then went to support the two from the bottom as PG and IG joining CG and MG at the top, as they grabbed their arms and positioned themselves in an acute angle. Then Og and Nemesis ran up towards them as Nemesis went ahead of her before turning towards the original with her back hunched and fingers interlocked as she looked at Gumi in anticipation. Og then steps on Nemesis' hands as she then flings her into the air before turning back and climbed over PG, IG, CG, and MG till she finally stood on the shoulders of the former two with her hands in the air before Og landed on them, as the 10 of them balanced them till they were finally stable. Tada! All of the Gumi said as everyone gave a round of applause. They then break the position as all of the manifested personalities then disappeared, letting Gumi walk back towards the group. All right, who is next? The verdant-haired girl asked. How about Miku? Ochako asked. Miku fell in the same category as me, Hansuke explained to them. Her quirk only works if there are electronics. Then it's my turn, Oliver said in a cheery tone as he ran past Gumi and stood on the center. Any preference? Cementos asked him. Quadruple layered walls, the young blonde boy said as Cementos nodded and created 4 thick walls that were put close to each other. Oliver then loosened the bandages around his head, letting it fall, but his once covered left eye was closed. He then let out a deep breath as he then opened his eye as jolts of electricity came out of it. Boom! Izuku's classmates were then shocked to see a large bolt of lightning coming out his eye, striking the layered wall, almost breaking the last layer in the process. Oliver groaned in discomfort as he closed his left eye and said, "It is still irritating to use." Oliver Smith quirk. Galvanic eye *. Oliver's left eye releases gigawatts of electricity that can tear through the ground and can even concentrate it to pierce through walls. But he can't control it perfectly, and this also irritates his eye. So he had to use a special anti-quirk tool, that is his bandage, to prevent further harm, unless he removes it while his left eye is open. All right, my turn, Freeshooter said in excitement before could do so. She then walks towards the center, passing by Oliver in the process. Preference? Cementos asked her. 7 targets, but make the last one hidden, she said as Cementos did just that. She then grabbed her flintlock, puts in 6 gold bullets before closing her eyes, and letting out a deep breath. Play tact-op. Simony. Freeshooter's ultimate. Whip. Bang. 1 target was then shot down. Bang. 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 Then 5 more followed, only leaving the hidden one left. But Freeshooter didn't reload. How can she shoot the last one if she doesn't know where it is? Ochako whispered to Izuku as she doesn't want to break Freeshooter's concentration. And aren't those types of guns only limited to 6? They can have more chambers, but 6 is the most common. And as for how she shoots it, he whispered back to her as they continued to watch. Just watch. Freeshooter then lets out another deep breath as she puts her hand on the chamber and spins it. Everyone then watched as one of the revolver's chambers began to glow a reddish hue before stopping, the glowing chamber now aligning with the barrel. Freeshooter then aimed her revolver in the air with her eyes closed before pressing the trigger. Bang! Zip. Tenya, Ochako, and Momo then watched as a red bullet came out of the revolver as it went up into the air. But they were immediately shocked when it suddenly loops around and was heading towards Cementos. Sensei. Zip. Zip. Boom. The three students were then shocked as the bullet went around their teacher and hit something behind him, shattering it in the process. End music. You are Negenda's daughter, all right, Cementos said as Freeshooter just gave him a jolly smile and a peace sign. Asterisk Frieda Freeshooter Jaeger quirk. Sure 7 asterisk. Asterisk every 7th shot that Freeshooter makes will be a guaranteed hit. No matter how hidden they are, as long as she thought of who to shoot. The main drawback is that every 7th shot must be thought out more, or it would lead to grave accidents. Bo-chan, you're up. Freeshooter quickly called out to Bolero, but the quiet girl didn't respond. Bo-chan. Bolero? Maple said as she snaps her fingers in front of Bolero's face. Oh geez, she is hyper-focusing again, Pico said, which made Ochako look at him. Hyper-focus? She asked. She is basically shutting everything out around her, so she could concentrate on her thoughts, Hansuke said before shrugging. She will eventually snap out of it, so who's next? I will, Nero proudly said as she puffs her impressive chest before walking to the center of the room. Preference? Cementos asked. Just a wall, large and triple-decked, she said as Cementos did just that. She then took a deep breath as she then raised her right arm in the air and her hand looked like it was holding something. Then, in a flash of fire, everyone witnessed as something manifest on Nero's raised hand. First, they saw a short red metal cylinder that she could easily grasp, but that quickly changed as a sword guard appeared, followed by the construction of a blade that has a crimson color. Then, in a shower of red petals, Nero slashed down the sword in her hand as the petals were reduced to cinders. Now, witness my powers, Nero declared as she points her weapon to the walls in front of her before raising it above her. Whoosh! Then the blade was consumed by fire as Nero kept her confident smile on her face before bringing it down. Whoosh! Boom! Then a fiery blast came out of the sword, sending it out to the decked walls and blowing up in the process. Asterisk Nero Claudius quirk. Infernal Tyrant of Roses asterisk. Nero's quirk takes the form of a crimson sword that she can manifest and lets her control fire itself to a massive degree. But the drawbacks is that she would risk burning herself if she goes further than 961.8 C. Nero then looked back to the tour group with a proud smile on her face before looking at Izuku and said, Amazing, wasn't it? Izuku just let out a sigh and said, Yes, it was. Nero just beamed in joy before walking back towards them. Why does she wants to be complimented, especially by your brother? Momo asked Gumi. She just wants to feel recognized. But she liked never other people's compliments about her, saying that all of them feel shallow. So she always asks Izuku, Gumi said to her. She said that his feels more genuine, even if he doesn't show it after being asked countless times. And I do, Izuku admitted with slumped shoulders. Her usage of her quirk is really amazing, and the control that she has with it is incredible. Not to mention her fighting style as well. Nero was then near them as she heard Izuku complimenting her again, which made her brim in joy, and she said, Love you too. Before Izuku could react, Nero kissed him on the cheek, making him blush a deep red color, making him resemble a tomato. Everyone just laughed at the sight, while Ochako pouts a bit. Don't worry, he'll not neglect you, Freeshooter assured her. We were even planning to have consecutive dates later, so why not join us later? Ochako thought about it, and couldn't help but blush as well. But it wasn't as bad as Izuku's. All right, my turn then, Maple said before going to the center of the room. Preference? Cementos asked. Oh, just a small cube, she said, which made Cementos raise an eyebrow, but eventually did what she requested. Maple then walked over to the cube as she kneeled down before the cube and puts her hands on it. Everyone then watched as her arms gain a metallic gleam before tearing the cube off the ground before reverting her arms to normal. Everyone just looked in wonder as Maple liked her lips before. Crack. Crunch. Biting the cube as if it was an apple. Huh. Momo just said in shock, with both Tenya and Ochako feeling the same as Maple just chews the cube like it was food before gulping it down to her stomach. Maple then let out deep breath as her arms spread out. Everyone then watched as Maple's arms gained a grayish color and a rougher texture. She then flexes, making it crack. But it didn't shatter. It simply made grooves that allows free movement. Then the rest of her body followed, her body turning completely into concrete as spikes then adorned her shoulders. Concrete. Brawler. Maple. Maple said dramatically as she then went for a pose. Asterisk keyed, Maple Hanju quirk. Gluttony asterisk. Asterisk, it allows Maple to eat anything and gaining its properties. She also has a set of teeth that could seemingly bite through anything. But her strength is one of her major weaknesses. If she ate something brittle like glass, she would gain its properties and could be easily shattered. Maple then reverts back to normal as she walked back to the group. All right, Bolero is the only one left, Fuke said before looking to the person he was talking about. Is she done yet? Actually, this made everyone jump when Bolero spoke up. I am, and I have a way to present myself. Well, go forward then, Pico said as Bolero just nods and walks over to the center of the room. Preference? Cementos asked as Bolero looked around the room. 3 targets over there, she said while pointing to a part of the ceiling before looking to her left. 2 targets over there. 4 there, 2 over there, and 5 right there. Everyone then watched as 16 targets were made, and all of them are spread out, making the heroes in training remind them of the simulation back in Island. Thank you, Cementos-sama, Bolero said to the teacher respectively, who nodded in appreciation before looking towards the targets. Play Tactop. Simony. Bolero's ultimate. F-whoosh. Then in a flash, struck 3 of the targets that were on the ceiling with nothing but a knife hand and blue electricity covering her. F-whoosh. She then disappears before reappearing again to strike down 4 more targets. She then did the same in the middle of the air as she has her right hand in a finger gun as she points it to 2 targets. F-wash. Boom. And fired a bolt of electricity at them, hitting them consecutively as the bolt went through the first target and hits the second one. F-wash. She then did the disappearing act again as she strikes 5 targets in a zigzag before striking the last 2 targets with a pair of bolts of electricity. End music. Bolero then turned towards the group as she gave them a bow, and she received a round of applause. Scene to fin, she said before standing up straight. Asterisk Bobai Bolero Bandolier Quirk. Azure Lightning Asterisk. Asterisk Bolero can go in immense speed as the electricity overwork her body. Fortunately, the excess electricity comes out of her body, but her body would get tired as she continues using it for a long time. All right, that is everyone then, Pico said. Off to the cafeteria then, Fuke said with a cheeky smile on his face as Flower just gave him a deadpan look. See you later then, children, Cementos said to them as they gave them a wave which they respectfully returned. Now in the cafeteria, everyone were already ordering. Omelette, Oliver. Cheeseburger, Fuke's. Shepherd's pie, both Ash and Georgia. Apple pancakes, both Yuki and Eri. Blueberry cheesecake, Pico. Same, but mine is strawberry. Mickey. Okonomiyaki. Flour. Same. Hansuk. Banana bread, Len. Orange sweet rolls, Rin. Shrimp and leek soba. Miku. Carrot cake. Gumi. Pepperoni pizza, Nero. Sashimi platter. Maple. Bratwurst, Freeshooter. Bass cheesecake. Bolero. Katsudon. Izuku. Mochai. Ochako. Creamy lemon pasta. Tenya. Medium rare steak. Momo. Enough said, moving on. The group were now in ground beta. I know they have a large budget, but how large is it? Mickey said in shock. Right, Fuke said as he felt a slight victory. The group is now in the development studio. So, this is where you get your equipment, Maple asked. It is. We get services including repairs, upgrades, and modifications, Momo said. They also test experimental gears that would lead to them starting their own support gear business, Tenya said. Speaking of support gears, Ochako said before looking at Freeshooter. How can you walk around with a gun? The same reason Snipe-san has one, she simply said to the brunette. But isn't that illegal since you still aren't one? Some hero schools allows the usage of weapons and gives out weapon passes so we can carry them around, Bolero interjected. While Freeshooter's is a revolver, mine is a pair of swords. Even at England's Beacon Academy, they allow their students to have a weapon to support their quirks, like John, having a sword and shield, and Fluttermouse has a shield that she uses as a throwing disc. But what about Yaoyorozu? Lin asked. I mostly use non-lethal options, but if I did use more dangerous weapons, they are mostly used to break through obstacles like the zero-pointers at the sports festival. Well, ain't that? Bang. Hello there, potential customers. Most of the group shouted in surprise, while those who were stoic just flinched when the door to the studio was slammed open by May herself. Fucking hell, Fuke said in annoyance as he slowly calms down. Welcome to the development studio. May greeted them when her eyes locked on Pico and Mickey, and an excited, almost obsessive, look appeared on her face. Cyborgs? Nope. Pico quickly bolted out of there with Mickey just behind him before May could say anything. Wait, come back, May called out as she then ran after them. Then Power Loader showed himself by the door. Damn it, Hatsum. The hero called out to his student in anger, but eventually just let out a sigh when he saw that she was far away. He then looked to the rest of the group. You want to check inside? Yep, Freeshooter said as he gave the hero a thumbs up. All right, just don't touch anything, he said before looking at Fukase. Especially you. That was only one time, the redhead said with an annoyed look, when he felt a strong hand on his shoulder. And that time will be your one and only, Flower warned him in a cold tone, which made him shiver. They then entered the studio, and the rest of the group went smoothly. At Hondo Airport, Ben could be seen coming outside the building with the hooded girl beside him. But they weren't alone. Beside them were John and Fluttermouse. Man, ain't that a big coincidence, Ben said to John as the both of them laughed. What are the chances of that happening? John said as Fluttermouse stood between them. 1 in a million, she said with a proud smile on her face. Ben's girlfriend just hides behind him as she feels uncomfortable with the crowd. Is Sonya not used to crowds yet? John asked as Fluttermouse gave the hooded girl a deadpan look. Really, Scheherazade? The Batgirl questioned the tan-skinned girl. Shut it. It's not bad as having the impulse to prank everyone she knows, Scheherazade retorted as Fluttermouse was about to say something till she stops and resigned from the argument. Touché, Fluttermouse said. So, we will go straight to Yue then? John asked. Yep, I even learned what to say to get there smoothly, Ben said. How can you speak Japanese so easily while I could do short sentences? That's a secret, Ben said with a smug look on his face. His favorite game is from Japan, and he would learn Japanese so he could play the Japanese release, Scheherazade said, which made Ben look at her in betrayal. Why? Are you still mad about the library? Yes, that was simply her answer, and Ben deflated, which made both John and Fluttermouse laugh. All right, let's go so we wouldn't waste time getting there, John said. I can't wait to meet them, Fluttermouse said with a cheerful smile on her face when John gave her a deadpan look. You already thinking of some traps, aren't you? Who knows, maybe I have, maybe I haven't, the Batgirl said, while giving him a cheeky smile as John let out a tired sigh. Please don't. I'll even buy you some gummies. Let me buy how much and I will not do anything, she said, and John couldn't help but groan. I could already feel my wallet losing weight, the blonde muttered in a tired tone as Ben gave him a pat on the back. That's rough, buddy, the American said as they then walked towards a nearby bus stop.